And we are live. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, guys. We are back with episode 18. Yeah, episode 18 of the WorldWideWednesday podcast. My name is Shiny.
And I'm Sovereign.
And yes, we're back after a 2-week hiatus.
And we are live. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, shit. Welcome, guys. We are back with episode... Okay. Now we are back. Let's not have audio problems again. I'm Shiny.
And I'm Sovereign.
We're back after a 2-week hiatus.
Thanks to COVID and...
What happened the week before COVID? Family.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had family over here.
Sovereign had family 2 weeks ago, and then last week there was a COVID outbreak in your family.
Yep.
And so, but now we're back, and we have a lot to talk about in terms of media as well as politics. Yep.
So let's get started. I want to get started with the Marvel news that has come out recently.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to start with Marvel. So, first off, let's talk about the thing that came out first, which was the Thor Love and Thunder trailers. Because at this point, 2 trailers have come out since we last did this podcast. So let's start with the Thor Love and Thunder trailers.
Which, it's surprising considering it's coming out in summer that we're only getting trailers now.
Then again, I mean, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, ever since Spider-Man, it's just been like... Ever since No Way Home, it's just been a very slow stream of content.
Yeah.
As far as like teaser content.
Well, then again, you gotta remember, Book of Boba Fett was the big hotness that came out Disney-wise after, it was, what was it? It was No Way Home, and then afterwards we had Book of Boba Fett, we had Turning Red, then we had Moon Knight, then we had Doctor Strange, so now we gotta promote Thor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, let's talk about the 2 Thor trailers. So, first of all, I like the vibe that we're going with. It's still keeping the Ragnarok vibe, but it feels very firmly like, we're done with Thanos. We're done with it. It's over.
And didn't like the music? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the music jump a decade as far as tone?
Yes, it did.
Good. Because I know before we got, I forgot the name of the song, but of course it played like twice in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And now we're getting clearly we're jumping a decade as far as like
they're both iconic songs, and I completely forgot the name.
Yeah, but in the first trailer, what we more got is like a focus on what the potential character arc for Thor might be, which, leading by the first trailer, looks to be like a hanging of the cape type situation.
Yeah, or maybe not hanging of a cape, but like rediscovering like who he is in this post Infinity Saga world.
I would say that with the first trailer alone, that's more the vibe I get. The second trailer kind of contradicts that a little bit, but not too much. Yeah,
so the song that was in Thor Love and Thunder. So the first song was an Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. That was in Thor Ragnarok. And this one is Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
And so, yeah. The second trailer just kind of contradicted a bit, but I can kind of see where we're going.
I like that more in the second trailer, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, no, I like the second trailer more. The first trailer... So I feel the first trailer kind of establishes that Thor, he doesn't know where he's at. He's with the Guardians, doing Guardian things, but he's not really comfortable. He's kind of with them because, like, he doesn't feel like he should be at Asgard. But now that he's with them and he's, like, doing missions with them, he's kind of like, is this really all I want out of life?
Yeah.
And so I think what this movie is trying to show is that Thor needs to remember that he may not be suited to be like a hero in the sense of like the Guardians or a king in the sense for Asgard, but he's still at the end of the day a god.
Yes.
And he has a responsibility as a god. And I think that's what this movie is going to be about.
Yeah.
Him kind of completing the arc that he started all the way back at Thor 1, which was understanding the responsibility that comes with being a god.
Yeah.
Because he never really got to fully complete that arc.
Yeah. especially because his character arc wasn't handled the best of the initial Avengers as far as Endgame's wrapping up of character arcs is concerned.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Tony and Cap got the star treatment there, and
Yeah.
Thor's character arc, while fine, like could have been a lot better, and I feel like this movie could be used to fix that.
Yeah, this is now a Thor that has learned what it is to be a hero,
And learn from his mistakes.
to lead, and to lose.
Yeah.
And then to also, like, triumph again. So now he's kind of on the path of, well, now I know what it's like to lose everything and all the things I thought I was. Lose it being a god when he lost Mjolnir. Lose it being a king when Asgard was destroyed and then subsequently demolished by Thanos. And then to lose as a hero when Thanos did the snap.
Because set aside the loss of life from the snap, he definitely lost a lot.
He did lose a lot. He lost his mother a couple years before the events of Infinity War, but then he lost his father, his sister that he only just knew about, and then his brother, and then his best friends in the Warriors 3 and Heimdall in very rapid succession, and then his people.
Yeah.
And so I feel Endgame was about Thor, like, kind of coming back to being a hero, and his interactions with Valkyrie is him realizing that he's not meant to be a leader like he thought he was in Ragnarok, but now it's about reclaiming himself as a god.
Yeah.
Because I feel that's the biggest thing about him, though, is that at the end of the day, Thor is the god of thunder, and the term god does carry weight.
Yeah. So I do want to point out, going into the second trailer, before we get into the second trailer, the Guardians of the Galaxy had a lot of prominence in the first trailer, and then going into the second trailer, they're almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Which I feel like will be an accurate reflection of the movie, as
Yeah.
like we've mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but we'll most likely not see Guardians for more than a third of the movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Guardians are only going to be in the first third, because, for one, this movie isn't their story. That's for Volume 3, and for the holiday special and I Am Groot. That's their story. Those projects are going to handle that.
Yeah.
This is more like, Thor was last seen with the Guardians, so obviously we're going to show him with them, but, like, this is not their story. They're going to leave the story.
Yeah, especially because, like, he is or they are his ticket to get into the more cosmic element of Marvel.
Yeah.
For his fourth movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. In terms of everything else that's going on, I'm really interested in seeing what Valkyrie's character arc is going to be.
Yeah, because the only element that we see of any interest to her character is like her being stuck in like a boardroom type thing where it's obviously like she's probably dealing with diplomacy as the leader of New Asgard.
Yeah, she is.
That's the only like hint as to what her character arc would be. So we don't have a lot to go off of.
I think it's going to be that I think her arc is going to be a bit tied with Thor's in the sense that here's how it's going to work. She is going to learn to be the king of New Asgard and has to balance. No, it's king.
Really?
All the promo material has her listed as king.
No way.
She is the king.
You know what? I'll take it.
She is the king.
I'll take it.
Yep. Trust me, I've watched enough of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals to see enough Thor Love and Thunder trailers to know it's king.
Okay.
Everything says king.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, no. She's considered the king of New Asgard. So what I think it is that her arc is going to be with dealing with being a king and dealing with Earth politics, but also potentially, I think she, alongside Jane and Thor, are going to divide up the roles that Odin had, in which I think Thor will become the new Allfather, Jane will become the new God of Thunder, and Valkyrie will become the new leader of Asgard and all of the godly politics that come with that.
Okay.
I think that's where it's going to break down, where Odin was all three. He was the god of war, he was the Allfather, and he was the king of Asgard. And now it's being decentralized.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
also, one thing I've noticed is that Lady Sif has not appeared in the trailers, despite us knowing she's going to be in the movie. She didn't show up in Thor Ragnarok, and we know she was snapped during the events of Infinity War.
Huh.
So she's supposed to be in this movie, and I feel like we're going to see her at Olympus.
Yeah.
She's either going to show up at Olympus, or she's going to die to Gore. Because she is also considered a god of war. The goddess of war.
Yeah. See, oh, man, all the Asgardian characters from the first two movies instantly vanish. She only is up there because of the fact that she made appearances in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So, like, she's a very forgettable character.
I mean, we did see her again in Loki.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So, and that is another reason why she vaguely sticks in my brain.
Yeah, she's supposed to be in this movie. And we haven't seen her in the trailers, which I think is because her role in the movie is actually going to be pretty small. And I think it's mostly going to be that she's going to die.
You think it might be more of like a combination of the roles that Heimdall played in Infinity War and Ragnarok, potentially?
Yes, I think that's what it's going to be.
I can see that, yeah.
I think that's what's going to be, because it doesn't look like she's on New Asgard, which would make sense because she wasn't on Asgard proper. From what we learned from directors, when Loki took over Asgard at the end of Thor the Dark World, he banished Lady Sif from Asgard. So, she has been nowhere close to Asgard for years now.
Okay. Now, of course, we got to talk about Gore the God Butcher.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I really love is the stylistic choice to make it so that he desaturates everything when he's around. And the only light that you see around him is the light of the gods, which is very much supposed to be about... This is very much about, like, atheistic nihilism versus, like, what is it? Like, holy optimism, kind of.
Yeah, especially because we're most likely going to see some good cinematography based on that one scene where it looks like Thor and Gore are going to be facing off, which we don't really see, like, things like good cinematography being, like, at the forefront. Typically, the only thing you can compare is, like, oh, pretty opening shot, but no, like, we see an actual action scene with good cinematography.
Yeah.
It's like, that's pretty rare for a trailer.
Yeah, and also, for one, I think this movie is going to reveal that Gore is not going to lose to Thor alone. He's probably going to lose to a combination of Thor, Valkyrie, and Jane, which is why I believe the movie's going to be about those three. Because we see Thor obviously using Stormbreaker against Gore, but in the lead up to that, we see him holding hands with Jane, walking towards Thor, and then obviously we see Valkyrie with Zeus's lightning fighting Gore in the same battlefield, which makes me believe that the story is revolving around these three.
Yeah.
And
which I find it very interesting that Valkyrie's gonna get Zeus's lightning bolt. Let's be fair here. Is Zeus gonna die?
Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We need someone to get Worfed right now. We need someone to get Worfed.
He is going to be on the hit list.
Yes, he's dying. One thing, so, this is a crackpot thing, but you know how it's about Thor, Love, and Thunder? Now, a lot of people are saying it's going to be about the love between Valkyrie and Jane.
I've heard that a lot, especially
However, I've also heard that Captain Marvel and Valkyrie have a thing.
Is that a more comics thing?
No.
No?
Because in the comics, Captain Marvel's straight.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, isn't she with Rhodey most of the time?
It's not most of the time,
or
but
a few times.
Her most prominent consensual relationship is with Rhodey.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But my theory, I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to see it happen, is that we end up with a triad.
No, that's not happening.
I know.
That's not happening.
I
This
know.
is Disney we're talking about.
I know.
They can't even remember how many times they've announced their first gay character. Let's be honest here.
I know. But part of me thinks of it just because of some of the things that are going on. Obviously, we see Thor and Jane holding hands.
No. Disney will first reveal their first trans character before they do that. Let's be fair here.
Fine. Part of me thinks it just because of the overt sexuality they gave Valkyrie, especially during Ragnarok, and you know the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The scene with the turret. So, yeah. But part of me thinks maybe the love could be a triad. It's not gonna happen, I know, but one could hope. I mean, because think about it. The reason why I'm saying this is because of all the characters that I could see doing it, Thor, I feel, could do it because Star-Lord, they're never gonna let happen because Chris Pratt is never gonna go for it. Star-Lord is the one that has a triad in the comics, but Chris Pratt's never gonna go for it. So I think Chris Hemsworth's our next best option.
Nah, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. That is not happening.
Well, the reason why I say that is because in Loki, there was a scene that they had that they only deleted due to time constraints, which was about Loki basically abusing the TVA, and he goes through, he gets 2 Infinity Gauntlets full of Infinity Stones, and then he kills Thanos' orgy with men and women, and it ends with him like sitting there shirtless, like doing like, you know, the stereotypical like pose that like all kings do when they're bored, with the, but he has the 2 gauntlets, and there's a bunch of unconscious like there's a bunch of unconscious semi-nude like men and women like draped across his throne.
First of all, that would kill him. That would kill him. Not just 1 Infinity Gauntlet, 2? No.
He has 2 Infinity Gauntlets, and
that would kill him.
He had 2 Infinity Gauntlets. He had a lot of He killed Thanos, and he had a lot of sex with men and women. And they were gonna put that, but they got rid of it due to time constraints. So I'm thinking maybe they could do it with Thor, especially because this trailer did show that men were fainting when they saw him naked.
That I did appreciate. I did like that.
So come on, think about it. Think about it. A throuple. Jane, Valkyrie, and Thor. The throuple.
No, I don't believe you that deleted scene even exists.
It does exist.
Or not even as a deleted scene, but as like a concept.
It exists.
No, I refuse to believe it.
It does!
No, mostly because, again, those would kill him. Thanos barely survived snapping.
Well, you never actually see him snapping. He just has them. But you don't actually see him using them.
Is that supposed to make your argument better?
It's supposed to be like a...
No.
The point of the scene is to show Loki being just a massive hedonist.
No. This is a whole vision splitting Thanos in two situation again. No.
I mean, yes.
No. This is not happen. This is not possible.
Fine. Anyways, do you think we're gonna see any connections to Moon Knight in this movie?
Nah.
You don't think we're gonna see references to the Egyptian gods? Like, I'm not expecting Moon Knight or Khonshu to appear.
No. I know where you're getting at here. Like, I get it. I don't think the Egyptian gods are too high on their hit list, especially considering that they mostly inhabit other planes and are only able to visit Earth through avatars.
So, at the same time, I agree, but in the comics, the Overvoid is in space.
The Overvoid is in space.
So,
but based on how we are interpreting the show,
the other reason why I say it is because Bast is in Thor: Love and Thunder.
We gotta keep Bast alive. If any Egyptian gods are getting introduced, they're on the hit list. Let's be honest here.
Well, Bast was shown in the trailer and in pre-release footage, which is why I'm wondering if we may see other Egyptian gods. Bast is considered the Wakandan god, but she's also part of the Egyptian pantheon.
Yeah.
And if the leaks are true that M'Baku is going to become the new Black Panther, what if it's not that he becomes the Black Panther, but he becomes the Great Gorilla? Because, remember, he worships Hanuman, which is the monkey god, not a part of the Egyptian pantheon. So what if Bast dies? And what if that death is the reason why T'Challa dies in Black Panther 2?
Oh man, I really don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to speculate on Black Panther 2 because, again, we've brought this up millions of times already.
The movie's a mess. We know.
The background, the behind-the-scenes news about that movie is an absolute mess, and it's most likely.
Did you hear the rumors that they were going to make... There are rumors, apparently, that Riri Williams is Killmonger's daughter. If that ever happens, I will walk out of the movie if they reveal that.
No.
I will walk out of the movie if they say Riri Williams is Killmonger's daughter for so many reasons. Not just from how a narrative and lore perspective that makes no fucking sense, but introducing your next prominent black character to just be related to another prominent black character despite the fact they had no relation prior. I would walk out of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, Gore looks good. I can see the Patrick Bateman in his face. You can see it too. I know you can.
Yeah. But I do love the prominence of the "you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself as the villain" memes. Just escalate.
Yes. But I'm actually more looking forward to this movie after the second trailer. Because the second trailer has shown a lot.
Yeah. Have you seen the complaints going around about how, like, his look is not comics accurate?
Gore's?
Yeah.
Listen, they're not going to Voldemort him. I'm sorry. That's just not going to fucking happen. They're not going to Voldemort Christian Bale.
Yeah. Also because doesn't he, like, look too similar to Ebony Maw as is? Like, when you compare the comics look?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of characters looks... Okay, if you look at Gore the God Butcher, you look at Ebony Maw, and then you look at the Builders, all in their comics forms, they look very similar, depending on art style.
And also, we got Christian Bale.
Yeah, come on.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Like, we got Batman.
No, we don't have Batman. We have Patrick Bateman.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
No, we got Patrick Bateman going on here. And so, I'm excited for this movie. I'm more excited for this movie after the second trailer than the first trailer.
Yeah, no, the second trailer more, like, leads to, like, more excitement for this movie. And also, we do get to see Jane have a more prominent role in this trailer. Because for the first trailer, she just made a flash in the first trailer.
At the end.
At the end of it. But... like, in the second trailer, you see, she's actually going to have a prominent role in this movie.
Yeah, one thing that I really did appreciate is that she views that Thor and her only broke up, like, 3 years prior. But Thor sees it as 8 years because Thor lived 5 years while she was dead.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah. It wasn't her being callous and him just being overly remembered. It's that she died. So from her perspective, they only broke up 3 years ago. But from him, who lived throughout the entire time, it's been 8 years.
Yeah, because what was the first indication that we got that they broke up? Was it...
It was in Ragnarok.
Yeah, it was in Ragnarok. Yeah, no, that timeline adds up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was in Ragnarok, and...
Why do I feel like it was earlier?
Yeah. Do you think they're going to get back together?
No.
I don't think they're going to get back together.
No, not a chance.
But I think they're going to say that... I think what it's going to be a bit of a Christine and Doctor Strange moment, where in the sense that they love each other, but they're not going to get back together.
Yeah. Let's be fair here. That movie did not handle that plot at all.
Oh, it didn't. But
especially
I think this movie's...
especially because we don't get payoff in that movie for that. Because, Doctor Strange has that moment with a different universe as Christine, so thus he doesn't have it with his universe as Christine.
And then the end credit scene just revealed his real wife, which is Clea.
Yeah.
His true love. Which is kind of like, well, fuck that. But yeah, I think in this one we're actually going to get them to be like, they love each other, but they're not, like, in love.
Yeah.
I also hope we get a bit insight as to why they broke up.
Yeah, probably. Like, especially because we do see an instance that Thor is a little obsessive about it. Like, especially in Endgame, too.
Yeah, but you could also say that was because, I mean, how would you react if your first love died and it's because of a mistake you made?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I feel it was less that it's more that she broke up with him, but more that she broke up with him and then he let her die.
Yeah.
I want to know why they broke up, because of all the MCU couples, they were the healthiest ones.
They were the healthiest one at the time.
Who was healthier? Well, the only healthy relationship I could see that came afterwards is Peter and MJ. And
like,
that's it.
Well, they were the healthiest relationship at the time, and then afterwards we got two better couples.
Who's the better one?
Mark, Steven, and Layla.
True. I still think they're in the unhealthy phase right now, though.
Yeah.
Steven
and Layla.
I still say unhealthy because
Okay.
it's Layla likes Steven because Steven is like her, but also he looks like Mark.
Because we've been on this rant already. How many times before? How many healthy relationships are there actually in the MCU?
Yeah, not many.
Oh, Fitzsimmons.
They don't count for this segment. They don't count for this segment. In the totality of the MCU, yes, but they don't count for the segment. In the totality, though, yes. They are most definitely.
So you're saying I'm still right?
Yes, but not for the movies.
Well, we still included Moon Knight.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know what I mean.
What, are you saying they're not canon?
Yes, they are canon.
Then don't fight me on this.
Okay, they're the best. But I was also going to say, when we saw them in What If, they just kind of click. Because in that one What If episode where they literally just got drunk and fucked all night, it just was like wholesome, because he then took her out on a date after. Well, was going to take her out on a date before Ultron showed up. But yeah.
Oh god, that's another episode I really want to forget.
I thought that episode was funny.
It was too juvenile for me.
What, you didn't like Frat Bro Loki?
Okay, everybody liked Frat Bro Loki.
Frat Bro Loki was amazing.
Moving on. So I think with that pretty much wraps up all our thoughts on the Thor Love and Thunder trailers that we've gotten.
Yeah.
Now let's go into She-Hulk.
Yeah, speaking of getting laid, She-Hulk, attorney at law. So, let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, the facial CGI sucks dick.
Yep. And people actually went ahead and look. They actually improved it. No. Wrong. They just upped the saturation on some of the trailers they gave to some media outlets.
Yeah.
So, they did not improve it at all.
Yeah, it sucks dick, but it'll probably look better come time for the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll most likely see a difference.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to get a Sonic situation here or anything, but we're probably going to see some impact on it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to look better. But
we're not going to see the show delayed 8 months and then it comes out.
Yeah. But that aside, I think this show is going to be, like I said way back when we first talked about this show, that it's going to be a crime procedural in the style of 24.
Yeah, a lot, because did you hear of a recent statement that came out from Marvel Studios? Like, we're going to be trying to experiment more. Like, we're going to start to put out content that may not vibe with you as an audience.
Yeah.
But we're trying to reach a wide, we're trying to cover a wide area of the content sphere as far as Marvel's concerned.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely going to be the first experiment out of the traditional Marvel formula.
Yeah, and I think this one may be a crime procedural in the style of 24, in the sense that if this episode is 60 minutes long, then 60 minutes will have passed within the show. Give or take.
Yeah.
Maybe. But one thing that I definitely think this show is going to be is that the overarching plot is not what we think it is. A lot of people are like, oh, Abomination's back, the story's going to be about him. No. I think this show is going to be about several superhero trials throughout the show. One is going to involve Abomination, probably getting parole. Another is going to be about Frogman. I'm so excited to see Frogman.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Are we diving into that part of Marvel where now we're going to have, we're going to make Polka Dot Man a prominent character in our movie and you have to deal with it.
Listen.
And somehow they pull it off.
Yes, listen. So if you don't know about Frogman, Frogman's father was a criminal that was frog-based, but his son saw the error in his ways, and so he became a superhero named Frogman. And what I think this is going to be about is I think She-Hulk is going to be defending Frogman for his vigilante efforts.
Yeah. And, of course, we do also have the rumors of Jessica Jones coming back.
Yes, I think she's going to be in it as a private investigator, because what I think this is it's going to be cross-country.
Okay.
It starts on the West Coast, but I think we're going to be in multiple cities because, let's be honest here,
Yeah.
Daredevil is also showing up in the show, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, and of course I would imagine you're basing most of that off of leaks and behind the scenes stuff, because a lot of the trailer leads it to be like very like her discovering her powers type thing.
Yeah, it's her discovering her powers. However, not just leaks, but just from what was said about the show, it doesn't seem to be about
some more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, like,
because we do see, like, we got the container with the guy in there. That's probably going to deal a lot with the plot that you're talking about.
Yeah,
but a lot of the stuff a lot of stuff that we're probably going to see has to deal with her getting used to her powers.
I think what we're going to see more than anything is about the legal aspect of being a superhero. Yeah. Like, I think Wong being in this show is going to be Wong testifying as, like, his parole officer, as Abomination's parole officer, given from what we saw in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and also... Oh, darn, I had something in my head. Oh, okay. Darn, I had something in my head and I really wanted to say it. I can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll remember later.
So, and the reason why I think that is also with She-Hulk comics. She-Hulk comics, for one, are very funny. They're comedy-based. She is the original Deadpool in that she was the first Marvel character to make fourth wall references and jokes.
Because when her show was first revealed, you can see her, you don't want to mess with me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
And you said at the time that would probably be like, oh, that's an ad for her for like her legal services.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be an ad for her legal services because we see she's heading up the new superhuman legal aspect of her law firm, which the law firm is...
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Now I remember.
Yeah.
So, with you saying that this is going to be diving into the legal element of Marvel, it's probably going to be fairly similar how we saw the economic element of the blip in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
So, that was actually an interesting point because, of course, we see Falcon trying to go kill alone, and just the blip screwed all of that up. And so it's like nothing, that's something you never even think about.
Yeah.
And so, like, going into this, the legal element of Marvel is something you never really think about either.
Yeah, so what I think we're actually going to see are things such as we're going to see Frogman getting defended. We're going to see the parole hearings for Abomination. I think we're actually going to see She-Hulk versus Daredevil on Happy Hogan's involvement in Far From Home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot that the implication was that Daredevil was going to be defending Happy for what happened in No Way Home.
Yeah. I also think we're going to see Jessica Jones as a private eye. I know we're not going to see it. But bring back Foggy Nelson. Please. I know we're not going to see him. But for the love of God, please bring him back. He was Luke Cage's lawyer, after all. But, yeah. I think we're definitely going to see a show that's more in line with, one, the legal aspect, but two, sexuality. Because the other thing about She-Hulk is that she's hot. But not just that she's hot and she has a body count. She fucks a lot. A lot. There actually was a running meme within the comics that she fucks a lot, that people thought that she slept with the Juggernaut. Then there was a convoluted storyline about how it wasn't her, it was actually a version of her from a different universe that does tourism, where they go from one universe to another and they sleep with people for like 24 hours. It's a whole convoluted thing, but the Juggernaut thought he was sleeping with real She-Hulk, so he was like, yeah, I slept with She-Hulk, and all the Avengers were like, bro, why the fuck would you sleep with... His name is Kane. It was like, why'd you sleep with Kane? Like, what the fuck? And she's like, I didn't sleep with him, I swear to God! And,
see,
yeah.
I think you know where my mind instantly goes when you say that, and I'm like, okay, that is hella unethical.
In terms of?
In terms of sex tourism.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, that's hella
multiversal sex tourism. Yes.
No, I refuse to like.
I will not show up in the show. I guarantee you. But we will be seeing She-Hulk fuck a lot. I guarantee you, she's gonna fuck Matt Murdock. I guarantee you, they're gonna hook up.
I honestly am willing to bet against you on that.
No, I think they're gonna hook up.
I am really willing to bet against you. Like, of course, we're not going to see anything on screen more than we saw in Eternals.
Yeah.
Let's be or in any Marvel Netflix show.
Yeah,
like,
but no, I think they're gonna hook up.
Like, of course, we're going to see implications of it.
I think she's gonna hook up with Daredevil. Not Abomination, but maybe Wong.
See, I see a lot of the trailers indicating that she's just sleeping around with random guys.
See, that's the thing, though, is that she does, but her main draw is that she hooks up with a lot of heroes. Because she's canonically one of the most beautiful characters in Marvel. Because...
I better fix that CGI first.
Yeah. Because you know how the Hulk, he's so big and rippling and muscly?
Yeah.
Well, for her, she's big, ripply, and muscly, but it also means she has gigantic tits and a fat ass. And that just works. And don't do that! That's what they made her to be. That is canonically her thing.
I'm covering my head in disappointment.
That's canonically her thing, and that's why she dresses the way that she does. She dresses to show her form because she's confident in her sexuality. And that's a big part of her character.
And we do see elements of that. We do see like people commenting on her body when she's out and about.
Yes, because canonically, She-Hulk has a fat ass. And it's going to be the same in the show. It's going to happen. She's going to sleep around. And it's going to be a part of her character. And I guarantee you, in every subsequent appearance of She-Hulk that we're going to see, there probably will be a joke about whether she would sleep with X superhero. And it's not going to be like a joke and like she's a slut, but a joke as in...
Okay. That's a little better. Yeah,
yes.
you had me there because before you corrected that, that's a little problematic.
No, it's not about that she's a slut. It's more that, like, are you good enough? Are you good enough to sleep with She-Hulk?
We'll see.
We'll
see
now that we have seen Star Fox, I don't think they're going to go the comics route where...
And for those who don't remember, it's post-credit scenes of Eternals.
Thanos' brother.
Yeah.
They slept together in the comics, but then She-Hulk found out what his superpowers were, and so she was unsure whether he used it on her, so she beat the shit out of him. And then other people weren't sure about that, and so there's actually a whole arc where she has to defend him in court.
Oh.
And
see, we brought up that his powers need to change whenever that movie came out.
There actually is a comic book arc that after She-Hulk defends him and everything, he goes on a quest to get rid of that aspect of his powers.
Yeah.
So he can start having normal consensual relationships.
Yeah, because let's just say that those powers would not fly nowadays.
Yeah, I think I think they're either going to tone it down or they're going to get rid of it entirely.
Because being able to manipulate people's emotions it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
If anything, his body count is just going to be because he's very attractive, and they're just going to play on the fact that he is played by Harry Styles, who's attractive and has a legion of simps. And I think that's going to be his aspect of the character.
Yeah.
But enough about him. Back to She-Hulk, who will also have a massive legion of simps. One thing is that she's probably not going to be a massive rage monster like Hulk is.
Yeah.
She's going to be more in control of herself. But at the end of the show, I do think she will join the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah. Or really found it. Because at this point, like, what members do we have? We have White Vision, and that's...
I think Kate Bishop's going to move to the West Coast.
You don't think they're going to... Well...
What does she have left in New York besides Jack?
That is true. Well, it's more like I'm thinking about them setting up the Young Avengers.
Yeah, well, she'll join it. So, yes, maybe Jack will join it. I don't know. But mainly, we only got White Vision.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we've got as far as like the West Coast Avengers, as far as like the
Or
key
maybe,
members.
or maybe she'll join Wong's group that he has with Hulk and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because as far as like groups are concerned, considering the Avengers has been sliced in half as far as like membership of key players are concerned, like Wong is doing all the work making a team.
Yeah, it's right now. It's Wong, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Katie, and Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
And so I think She-Hulk's going to join that group.
because remember how many members of the Avengers are left? Just like Hulk, Hawkeye's in retirement.
Falcon's Captain America, but I think he still works for the government.
Yeah, he's still part of the government. Scarlet Witch is temporarily dead.
Dead in quotation marks.
Temporarily.
Doctor Strange is...
He's never been a part of the Avengers, really.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is currently in the Dark Dimension with his new wife. Spider-Man, no one knows he exists.
Well, no one knows what his identity is.
Yeah, no one knows what his identity is. Moon Knight, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
The Eternals,
Half of them got abducted by a celestial somehow.
and the other half are in space. And the remaining are dead.
And then Thor's in space.
Thor's in space.
So yeah, as far as like key groups that could be, or key members of
We got
the main
Rhodey.
group, he's never been a part of the Avengers, really.
Yeah, he has.
Not particularly. He mostly acts as like a part
As
the
of
government.
Age of Ultron, he is part of the Avengers.
Okay.
Remember, at the end of Age of Ultron, when they have the big group of people,
that's right.
he's part of the Avengers.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I forget. Like he's a key like decision maker and part of Civil War. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, hell, he was one of the few people who didn't or one of the few people who like stayed and didn't run away after the events of Civil War. So
Yeah. One thing is I think, so there have been a lot of talk that that Hulk is going to leave Earth again because the running theory is that Hulk is going to leave, that She-Hulk is going to take Hulk's place on Earth while he goes to space to deal with the fact that he has kids now.
oh right, that was a thing that happened in the Planet Hulk comics, huh?
Yeah, he has 2 kids.
Oh man, but that's under the implication that Universal will let go of those rights.
Universal doesn't own the rights to his kids.
That is true, but we gotta have Hulk in there. Well, we may not need to name the show or movie where he's going to be a part of that.
Yeah, because look at it. He's a part of She-Hulk a lot, but it's about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So they're probably just going to work around it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to end with someone being like, is this the whatever, what did they call him in Thor Ragnarok?
The what did they name him? No, they still called him Hulk.
No. I'm talking about what the people on Sakaar called him.
Yeah, no, they still.
They don't know his name was Hulk.
No, they do cheer his name when he comes out.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
I feel like the Grand Master introduced him as someone else, though.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see, I'm checking.
Yeah, no, I think you're mistaken on that.
Oh, he was just called the Beloved Champion.
Yeah, he was just called. Yeah, he just referred to him as his champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the crowd was still cheering for Hulk.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I can see that, like, that being like a way for him to leave Earth so that She-Hulk can take over. I guess I can see that as a future.
And so he's going to be dealing with the fact that he got kids.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Especially because we have a mostly intelligent Hulk now.
Yeah, which will be interesting because I think if they're going to adapt World War Hulk, they'll probably do it with his kids, considering Korg and Meek are now firmly established as Thor characters, while in the World War Hulk comics, Korg and Meek were Hulk characters, and in fact, Meek is the main villain of World War Hulk.
Huh.
Yeah.
considering that he can't talk, he can't walk, he can't do anything except
He's wearing a dress in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, I'm excited for She-Hulk. I think it's going to be really interesting.
I think it's going to be pretty divisive, but I think I'm still going to enjoy it. But I do think that with the hint of experimentation that Marvel Studios is leading us to believe, I think we will see a lot of people stray away from this show, but I still think it'll be pretty good.
Same here, especially because we're still going to get fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we saw Titania break into, like, one of the court proceedings, and she's going to fight She-Hulk, and Titania is literally her, like, biggest villain.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very curious to see who Megan Thee Stallion's character is going to be. Because we still don't know yet.
So it's not Titania?
No, she's not playing Titania.
Okay. Because I think I missed that part of the trailer, because I think I've only watched it, like, twice.
Yeah, no, Titania's in it, and it's not Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay. I also don't know what she looks like, so...
Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
Moving on. Moving on.
Don't look at me like that.
I will. Moving on. So one thing I wanted, the last aspects of Marvel are just bits and pieces of things that have come out, such as...
So we do have a green light of another season of Daredevil, which is...
Or maybe it's not another season of Daredevil, but a Daredevil project.
Yeah.
So we're getting a Daredevil project.
Which would be interesting, considering that Daredevil's been in retirement from vigilantism for quite a while, ever since he put Kingpin in prison, and, you know, Kingpin's out.
Oh, shit. Breaking news. Amber Heard found liable for damages against Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, I didn't realize that happened today.
Oh, yeah, no, that was today. That was today at, like, 3 p.m.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway,
we can bring that up later, because I'm pretty knowledgeable on that. So.
Okay, yeah, you're more knowledgeable than I am, because I kind of stopped giving a fuck, because
I never cared.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But anyways, yeah, so we're getting a Daredevil project, some pre-release pre-release screenshots of Echo has come out.
Oh, good. I did want to see more from her, because I thought her performance was really good, despite the fact that, you know, she can only act in sign language.
Yeah. So we got some pre-release pictures of Echo. It looks like she's on the run.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Most likely she would have found out that Kingpin was still alive and she didn't kill him properly.
Yeah. So we got some more, like, Miss Marvel stuff coming around.
That I also feel is going to be a very divisive... Because, let's just face it, we're going to get very, like, Homecoming, Far From Home vibes from it, but, like, up to the extreme, and it's probably going to be like we're going to get like a Disney Channel like original movie vibes, but like with a professional budget.
Wait a minute.
What?
Miss Marvel comes out next week.
No way.
Miss Marvel comes out next week.
Wait, verify that for me.
June 8th. Wait a minute. We may actually have to do a segment about our theories about Miss Marvel.
Oh man. Oh, and I let it all out too quickly.
June 8th! That's next week!
No way.
June 8th, 2022!
Okay, this has turned into a...
Yeah, no, never mind. Segment, what are your thoughts leading into Miss Marvel?
So I'm going to say exactly what I said before.
Yeah, hold on. I didn't realize it was coming out next week.
So, impromptu segment here. So, like I said, we're probably going to get, like... very like early 2000s Disney Channel movie vibes,
which I think is more than appropriate for this the show.
But like again, we're gonna get an MCU budget with this one, so it's definitely gonna be higher quality. I think reflecting off of She-Hulk, we're probably gonna get similar vibes to it, as to the point to where it's probably gonna be pretty divisive because it's going to target a smaller audience.
Yeah.
So most likely, people probably won't like it, but that's because it's targeting a different audience.
Yeah, I think the big thing about this show...
Because it's going to be a high school drama.
Yeah, I think the big thing about the show is that, one, it's going to tie her in with Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, but two, I think it's going to reveal that she's an Inhuman. And I feel more confident about that after Black Bolt showed up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think that was a backdoor, like... let us reintroduce Inhumans.
Okay.
Because the last we saw of them was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You really think so? Because I mean, in the comics, her powers are like organic to her, like
Because she's an inhuman.
because she's an inhuman. Whereas in this show, or in the trailers, it's implied that she's got like magic bracelets that help her with her powers.
So, the biggest theory that I've seen is that the bracelets actually have Terrigen mist inside, and at the end it's going to break, and she's going to be consumed by Terrigen mist, go through Terrigenesis, and then her powers are going to be...
Oh, for people who haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that is going to be a
Oh, it's going to be a mindfuck.
It's going to be a wild ride for people for sure, because they think, oh no, she's entrapped in stone, and then all of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans are like, oh no, this is normal, carry on. Carry on. Don't worry, she's not being sealed by the Egyptian gods. We're good. We're good.
But yeah, I don't know who the villain is, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. What if, and crazy thought here, what if it actually was or Captain Marvel?
She would fucking die! She would get fucking murdered! But, yeah,
But, like, just for, like, an episode. Because, again, this is going to be a high school drama. We don't need to have, like, an overarching villain throughout the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
Especially because how many episodes is this show going to be?
I think it's 6. Let me check real quick.
Yeah.
I think it's a 6-episode show.
Yeah, which is very weird, especially considering, like, how She-Hulk is going to be 9 episodes.
But I think She-Hulk works better for 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Given if it's going to be an anthology.
But, yeah, I think it's going to be good. But it's also going to detract a lot of people from it just because of the fact that, you know, it's going to be more kid-friendly.
The red carpet premieres tomorrow.
Wow.
Fuck, I completely forgot that. I thought the show was going to come out after She-Hulk.
What I do hope is that after Miss Marvel ends, I hope we do see... I forget her last name, but... Yes. Iman's her, or the name of her actress, right?
Yes, Iman Vellani.
I hope we get to see her and Xochitl Gomez, since their characters are relatively the same age.
Yeah. Definitely going to be Young Avengers. Because I think they're friends in the comics.
Yeah, because they're pictures of them hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
So, hinting at future potential, what's it called? Projects together. What are you looking at now?
I just saw. I was just looking through just to see if shit. Just to see if I missed anything, and I'm looking at the Black Panther section. Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, here are the rumors. So, Namor has it says winged feet. I think they're supposed to say webbed feet.
So most likely what it's going to... Like, if they say winged feet, most likely they're going to have, like wings coming out from the back of his ankles. Like, kind of like fish-like.
Oh! Okay, that would actually make sense.
So it's like... It looks like winged feet would probably be the best way to describe it, but most likely what they're implying is, like, fins coming out from the back of his ankles.
Yes. So before I get to the ridiculous one, the Savage Land is introduced, which in the comics, the Savage Land is a piece of Antarctica that was not affected by the meteor that killed the dinosaurs, so there's just a fuck ton of dinosaurs.
Okay, the MCU has crazier stuff than that.
The point of it being there is that Riri Williams is going to find vibranium there, which I'm fine with. I
mean, yeah, what vibranium meteor could have chipped off, and some of it could have gone to Antarctica, sure.
But the Val is supposed to appear, possibly setting up her role in Ironheart, which, whatever. But the thing that made me stammer, Shuri raises T'Challa's son in Puerto Rico.
His what?
That actually has been a massive thing ever since the beginning. Ever since Chadwick Boseman's death, everyone kind of thought that we were just gonna get a T'Challa son, like T'Challa's kid.
Again, this movie's gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
This movie's going to be an absolute mess.
Yeah, it is. But I was looking for Miss Marvel stuff, and I saw that show up, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Oh my god. But yeah, back to what will probably be a better project. Miss Marvel, I'm expecting Shazam.
Yeah. Again.
Like Disney Channel, the Disney Channel original movie vibes with Shazam is what I'm expecting, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool, especially because she's a massive dork.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, fucking Christ, it's coming out next week. Oh my god, we're actually gonna be reviewing Star Wars and Marvel Disney Plus shows for once at the same time.
Which goes into our next segment, because this also came up out of nowhere. The fact that we got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, so we have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And we've got 3 episodes to review.
I don't want to review them yet. I want to go over Star Wars Celebration first.
Okay.
So Star Wars Celebration is obviously massive Star Wars convention where they revealed a lot of things, such as, and I want to start out with this one, Andor.
So let me get my opinions out of the way first. I don't care about this. I don't care about this at all.
So,
like, let's be fair here. The characters in Rogue One were nothing. Do you remember anything about Jyn Erso? No, you don't.
Wait, yes I do.
No, you don't.
Yes I do.
No, she is not a compelling character
You
at
guys
all.
are the rebellion, right? So I rebel.
Oh, yeah, because that was such a good line of dialogue. Oh, yeah, and what about Cassian Andor?
Well, I mean, they did actually cut it from the movie because it was so fucking bad. No, so I want to say this. So this show...
And then you've got Cassian Andor, who's supposed to be the lead of this show. What do you remember about him? I don't know. The fact that he was in this fight since he was 6 years old.
Well, that's the thing. The show has been greenlit for 2 seasons already.
Okay.
So it's going to be a 2-season show and 2 seasons alone. And it's supposed to take place over a 5-year time span. The first season is going to take place across 1 year. The second season is going to take place across 4 years. And the ending of the show is supposed to lead into his last mission that we see in Rogue One. And so the show is going to be about basically the end of the Clone Wars from Cassian's perspective and when the Empire came to his planet. And it's about him basically living during the birth of the Empire.
Yeah.
And seeing its fascistic repression first and foremost. And the second season is going to deal with him discovering the rebellion and becoming one of their best spies.
Because ultimately what this show has to do is it has to lead up to him taking part in the rebellion up to the point where he steals the Death Star plans.
Yes.
So that's ultimately what this show is going to entail. But I hate to say it, nothing that the trailer showed me really intrigued me.
Well, I'm actually intrigued a lot by it for multiple different reasons. For one, they're actually showing an era of Star Wars that we really rarely got to see. The only era that's covering this is currently Bad Batch, which is basically the early Imperial era where the clones were still the primary fighting force.
Yeah, because especially, like, it didn't take them long to switch to stormtroopers, really. Cause
we will cover that in our Bad Batch section, so I don't want to go too deep in that part.
Okay.
But we're covering an early era, but also I really like how this is going to work because I very much feel this show is going to show exactly how fascism is a cancer and how it destroys and deteriorates communities and turns people against each other. Because that's what the show is going to be about, and that's why I'm interested in it. I'm very much interested in seeing what will drive a single person from being a normal galactic citizen to being a rebel under the boot of Imperial fascism.
Yeah.
And I think Cassian Andor is the perfect person to do it with. Because he talks about how it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows working for the rebellion. He did things that he regrets, which I think is very realistic of how real rebellions work. Not all rebel leaders or prominent rebels in human history were good people, and not all of them were morally upstanding people that did only the best things. Some of them did a lot of fucked up shit. And so because of that, I'm very interested in seeing how this will play out. I'm interested not just of seeing how how Cassian will become radicalized, but I also think it's very good for lore building, for world building. Because I
Yeah.
feel one thing that has always been missing in between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy is really what the beginning of the Empire was like for your average citizen, and how you could have so many people either join the Empire or be so vehemently against them.
Because in Rebels, we get the formation of the rebellion, correct?
So, Rebels takes place 5 years before A New Hope. So, it's less about the formation of the rebellion, it's about the formation of the unified rebellion. Rebels starts with just different cells. Different rebel cells all cropping up, and their eventual unification into one rebel alliance. That's why it's called the Rebel Alliance. It's an alliance of different rebel cells. But we never got to see the real formation of what leads people to create a rebel cell. We're seeing it in Bad Batch, and we're going to get to that when we get to our Bad Batch section, but I'm really interested in seeing it in... We saw it a bit in Solo as well, but I want to see it from someone that was very much entrenched in the rebellion like Cassian. Yeah. And that's why I'm actually really interested, because this show is very upfront about what it's going to be, and they're very much told you what it's going to be about. This is about Cassian becoming a kid, going from a kid to a man, going from someone who lived in a world that wasn't affected by the Empire to being completely taken over by the Empire, and his radicalization up to his final mission. And I think that's why I'm interested in it. Okay. As I think it's very fertile ground for storytelling.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Just the trailer, I don't know, it was just a bunch of nothing to me.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely holding back a lot. But from what I saw, I was very interested. Like, seeing clones and the LAATs was something that really took me by surprise. But I'm really interested in seeing it now.
Okay.
So, the next thing that they have announced is John Watts has a new show called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And so so it's John Watts and the who's going to be a part of it? Jude Law. He played Gonrog in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and so basically it's going to be... The best way to describe it is that Skeleton Crew is going to be the Goonies, but for adults. As in, the protagonists are children, but the show is not for children. And I believe it's taking place in the time of the Empire as well. Let me just double check. Yeah. It doesn't say it does take place. It's that these kids are lost, and they're on a journey to get back home. Which screams to me that these kids did a random jump into hyperspace and they don't know how to get back home. So, yeah. Skeleton Crew looks to be pretty interesting.
Now, is it going to be just random kids, or are there going to be Force-sensitive kids?
Let's be honest here. It's Star Wars. One of them is bound to be Force-sensitive. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. You don't think it's going to be like younglings escaping Order 66 at all?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Because
that could also be interesting.
Yes. It would be interesting. So, another thing is that, so this hasn't been fully shown off yet, but they did show trailers for The Mandalorian Season 3 and for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And so I have actually seen people describe what the trailers are about, so I'm going to describe it to you.
Okay.
Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be about Jin's journey to Mandalore to repent. You saw what happened during the Book of Boba Fett, where he was kicked out of the Keepers of the Watch because he took off his helmet, and the only way to atone is to go under the living waters of Mandalore. This is about him doing that. Also, it's about the upcoming Mandalorian Civil War. Bo-Katan is very salty in this show that Din has the Darksaber, because it means that she cannot be Mandalore, and she cannot unite the tribes of Mandalore. So this is very much setting up the gigantic Mandalorian Civil War. We also saw the Doctor from Mandalorian Season 1, the one that did all the clonings. which we saw was the implications of Supreme Leader Snoke and Palpatine back in Mandalorian Season 1. He's returning, meaning that we're definitely going to see some First Order origins as well in this show, because it's now been established throughout the new canon. The First Order and the Final Order has been Palpatine's plan all along, and the hints to them existing has gone as far back as Star Wars, the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which takes place 5 years before Kenobi.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be about that. It has Grogu and Din, and it's mainly focused on them on Mandalore. We also will see his friend, the black guy, whose name I'm forgetting. He's there. He's going to be in the show.
Oh, the guild leader?
Yes.
Yeah.
No Kara. No Gina Carano. But Paz Vizsla will return.
I've heard rumors that they're trying to get her back.
They're not going to bring her back.
You don't think so? You don't think enough time's passed for people to forget?
They're not going to bring her back. Because the rebel character that they're focusing on is the pilot that we saw. Okay. That we last saw back during Book of Boba Fett. He's returning. So I think he's going to be the rebel character of focus. Or, at this stage, it's New Republic character of focus.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there. Paz Vizsla is returning with his minigun, in fact. So he will be returning, and it's mainly going to be about a fight on Mandalore.
Okay.
And so that was
because
Mandalorian Season 3.
Ever since Season 1, that's been... Or more beginnings of Season 2, that's more... have been what the show's been setting up for.
Yeah, and Book of Boba Fett also helped with that a lot.
Yeah.
Where I think Book of Boba Fett showed us the nuking of Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for Ahsoka, the Ahsoka show is very much supposed to be a sequel to Star Wars Rebels. Insert me saying for the 1000th time, watch Rebels. You're going to need to, because this show is going to deal with... Also, you need to watch Clone Wars, because this show is going to hop around the time. So what the show is going to be, from what I've heard, is that the trailer has shown multiple things. One, it's going to show Ahsoka's battle with the seventh brother, which is something that happened in the Ahsoka novel, which takes place after the events of Clone Wars Season 7. It's also it also showed glimpses of her, fighting that lady back in Mandalorian Season 2, where she was looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
And it's also showed a shot-for-shot recreation of the final scene of Star Wars Rebels, where Sabine Wren, who is now in live action, is showing up alongside Ahsoka to begin the search for Ezra Bridger, who disappeared at the end of Star Wars Rebels with Grand Admiral Thrawn.
They have a lot of work to do to redeem his character.
Grand Admiral Thrawn?
No.
Ezra?
Yeah. People don't like him.
No. People that haven't watched Rebels don't like him. People that have watched Rebels think he's a good character. People that haven't watched Rebels think he's just a whiny kid. But by the end of Rebels, he's more than capable, and he's most definitely a wise person who, at that point, by the end of Rebels, was gonna probably become a Jedi Knight.
Okay, I'll take your word on it.
You need to watch Rebels, I swear to fucking God.
No.
Yes! You're not gonna understand this show. This show is literally a sequel. The plot literally hinges on the end of Rebels. The characters... Also, we're seeing live-action variants of every member of the Ghost Crew. Hera, Chopper, Zeb. We're most likely going to see Agent Kallus as well, who in Rebels was an Imperial commander who defected to the rebellion after being saved and realizing the error of his ways and that, committing a genocide was actually pretty fucking horrible. He has a whole character arc about how he feels incredibly guilty for perpetrating genocide and such, and yeah, he's probably going to show up in the show too. And we're also probably going to be introduced to Hera and Kanan's child, who is most definitely Force sensitive. So that's going to be the Ahsoka show. And so there were trailers for that. Very interesting. Since you didn't watch Rebels, there's no emotional pull for you in any of these characters that I've mentioned.
Yeah. Like I know who Kanan and Hera are. I know that at least.
Sabine,
she's the Queen of Mandalore.
No.
No.
She is a Mandalorian who used to be an Imperial, but then defected. She joined the Ghost Crew, and she technically is the ruler of Mandalore in the sense that she beat Gar Saxon in a duel for the Darksaber. And you know Mandalorian tradition, those who beat the previous wielder of the Darksaber in combat is the ruler of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, she got the Darksaber from Maul. Darth Maul. And it's a lot of explaining to do to explain how that got to where it is, because that involves watching Clone Wars, something you haven't done.
So there's only one Darksaber, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The Darksaber that appears in Clone Wars is the same one that appears in Rebels, is the same one that appears in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. It's the same Darksaber.
Okay.
It's just been passed down by numerous users. But to understand its full genealogy, watch Clone Wars and Rebels, goddammit! Because her role in Ahsoka is predicated on that, and I still theorize she's going to appear in Mandalorian Season 3, considering she was once a wielder of the Darksaber. And not just that, she is probably the second most proficient wielder of the Darksaber, considering she was trained by a Jedi into how to use the Darksaber, unlike Din, who was not trained how to use it.
Mm.
She was trained by a Jedi on how to use the Darksaber.
Okay.
So, yeah. Next up, we have Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is taking place 5 years after Jedi Fallen Order, meaning it's running concurrently with Kenobi.
Yeah. So that one's the newest video game reveal, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that one most definitely is going to follow Cal Kestis, and basically, I guess, him being hunted down by the Inquisitors and Vader, because that's how it ended. He was being hunted down by Vader and the Inquisitors. Some people believe that Cal Kestis is going to make a live-action appearance in Kenobi because of the fact that Star Wars Jedi Survivor is taking place concurrently with Kenobi, and it deals with Inquisitors and Vader as well. So some people think so. So, yeah, it was just like a teaser, but pretty interesting. I never got to play Fallen Order because I don't own a console that plays Fallen Order, but from what I've seen of it, it looks really interesting. It deals a lot with the Inquisitors, how they were formed, as well as aspects of Order 66 that took place that we don't necessarily see, such as how some Force users were not killed but captured and brought to the dark side to become Inquisitors, as all Inquisitors are former Jedi. So, yes. So, Jedi Survivor. And before we get to Kenobi, a last big thing that came out was Star Wars Bad Batch Season 2. Now, I'm really hyped for this.
Yeah, you definitely have to take the lead on this one.
I'm really hyped for this for multiple reasons. One, we are seeing the return of Commander Cody. Commander Cody is a character whose fate has always been ambiguous post Revenge of the Sith. In the expanded universe, he got relegated to becoming a trainer, and he vehemently hated all recruits. He thought they were inferior to the Jango Fett clones, and he thought the Empire was degraded as a result. Seeing him in this show should definitely be interesting because the end of Bad Batch is, well, the destruction of Kamino and its cloning facilities and the beginning of the transition from clone troopers to conscripted soldiers. So seeing Cody involved probably means we're going to see that aspect of his story. We also saw the Batch obviously returning, but this time it looks like they're going to be one of the first Rebel cells. We kind of got hints to that they were going to be that back in Season 1, because Clone Captain Rex, who, once again, is my favorite clone trooper of all time, one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time, back during Season 1 of Bad Batch, looked to have already been starting his Sparks of the Rebellion. He teams up with the Martez sisters, which are they're hard to explain because they're from Clone Wars Season 7, and you didn't watch that. But they're characters from Clone Wars Season 7 that appeared in Bad Batch, and it was revealed at the end of their episode that they are taking orders from Rex. This should be interesting because there is a gap of time between Rex trying to start a rebellion to him being someone that seems disillusioned with the idea of rebellion come Rebels, to which he then inevitably will join the Rebels, and he ends up being part of the Rebels all the way up until the Battle of Endor, in which he is present for the destruction of the Death Star. Part 2. But Bad Batch seems to be very interesting as it's going to be dealing with all the drama that the clones are dealing with, both as ones that have defected from the Empire, as well as those currently in the Empire but now having to deal with them being replaced by conscripted soldiers. That's a huge part of Bad Batch Season 1 because Moff Tarkin thinks that clones are too expensive and they are cutting costs. The reality of the situation, as revealed in many aspects of the Star Wars canon, is that Palpatine is cutting costs for the Empire because he's siphoning funds for the First Order.
And or you mean the Final Order?
Both.
Yeah.
It's both First Order and Final Order. He's siphoning funds, so yes. The clones are getting out because they're too expensive, but the expenses is because, yeah. But I'm really excited for this. We also get to see the return of Gungi. Gungi is a Wookiee youngling who appeared back in Star Wars The Clone Wars, who was being hunted down by General Grievous, who was last saved by the space pirate Hondo Ohnaka, one of the funniest characters in Star Wars The Clone Wars. And it looks like he has survived Order 66, and it seems the Bad Batch are going to be interacting with him, which should be pretty interesting. We're going to see what happens to him, because we don't know what happens. And there's just a lot there. It's good to see Omega again, and for you that doesn't know, Omega is technically Boba Fett's sister, as she is the only female Fett clone.
I guess they have to have one of them.
Yeah, she is the only female Fett clone, so she is technically not just every clone's sister, but more importantly, she is Boba Fett's sister. And she actually, funnily enough, has interacted with Fennec Shand. But Fennec Shand didn't know that she was a clone, a Fett clone, so it would make sense why she doesn't bring her up in Book of Boba Fett, because she didn't know that Boba Fett's sister was that girl that she saved all those years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, Cad Bane was involved in that plot line as well, and we saw Cad Bane back in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these projects are coming out, and they're really exciting, and I'm really excited to see it, and this is all the more fuel to yell at Sovereign to watch Star Wars The Clone Wars and Rebels!
Alright.
But with all of that Star Wars celebration shenanigans out of the way, let us get to the newest Disney Plus series that has come out.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now let's start with episode 1. I feel like episode 1 was pretty good.
Episode 1, in my opinion, was great.
So, the biggest thing, of course, trying to establish Obi-Wan in an element where he's completely cut off from any of his connections, cut off from his need to use the Force, and just show him watching over Luke.
Yes. But not just him watching over Luke, him using his duty to watch over Luke as a crutch. He's afraid. Throughout the show, and we'll see this in many different aspects of the show, but even in episode 1, Obi-Wan has a lot of PTSD from the events of the end of the Clone Wars. From his betrayal by Commander Cody during Order 66 on Utapau, from Anakin's fall to the dark side, seeing him kill younglings through the temple security, to the duel on Mustafar, to Padme's death, and even flashbacks to the death of Qui-Gon back in The Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan has a lot of PTSD. He feels immense amounts of guilt of what he amounts to be his biggest failure. He failed not just Anakin, but he failed the promise that he made to his master to properly train him. He feels that he's failed in a lot of ways and that he didn't keep Padme safe. And he failed in the sense that the Republic and the Jedi lost. They were betrayed by the clones and the Sith won. He is now in exile, and he is now a very bitter, scared man.
Yeah, especially because, like, when a fellow Jedi comes to...
Nari. His name is Nari.
Comes to ask for his aid, he just immediately rejects him, which is, of course, against his character, say, before the fall of the Empire, but now...
Before the fall of the Republic.
Before the fall of the Republic, right. And now, he's just gone through so much that, he's not willing to help at all.
Yeah, and it's very emblematic because we see several aspects of how he's not going to help. And how it has negative consequences. Him not revealing himself, one, led to an innocent woman getting her arm chopped off by the Inquisitors. Owen nearly losing his life due to Obi-Wan not coming forward, which the only reason he was saved was because of the fifth brother, Owen, being saved. And Nari and his inevitable lynching by the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Where he was lynched because Obi-Wan did not help him. And, yeah, it very much shows that the saying is true. Injustice anywhere means there's no justice anywhere. Like, injustice anywhere means there's no justice, but also, like, your inaction does have consequences.
Yeah.
And especially in... Basically, if you haven't noticed already, this series is a massive allegory to the Holocaust, but more specifically, the Brika, which is basically... Brika being Hebrew for the fight, which is basically the post-Holocaust issues that the Jewish Europeans had to deal with at the fall of Nazi Germany, the advent of the Soviet Union taking over all of Eastern Europe, the rest of Western Europe not knowing what to do with the Jews and more like not wanting to deal with them, and so all of their trials and tribulations afterwards. This is what this series is an allegory for.
And, those will become much stronger when we discuss episode 3.
Episode 2 and 3.
Yeah.
For the Brika part, but yes.
But, yeah, all credit to Ewan McGregor. Did you hear that he actually struggled to gain his Obi-Wan voice back?
It makes sense.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's fairly different from the way he talks normally.
Yeah.
Like, he actually had to go back, rewatch the prequels, and actually study how he acted beforehand to regain his Obi-Wan voice.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean...
And not only that, but able to perform it in a manner to where, yeah, it shows, like, he's gone through some shit.
Yeah. But he's doing it really well. And episode 1 was really good, especially showing... I loved how they showed the same scene 3 times, showing just how much of a grueling, soul-crushing experience he is just living, working this...
Yeah.
just soulish job on the outskirts of Mos Eisley.
Yeah. I did not expect what the plot was going to be at all.
Yes,
because seeing like Leia actually play a part in the plot was like not something I was expecting. I mean, mind you, I didn't expect this show to come out last week, so there's that.
What?
I did not expect this show to drop last week, so this entire show caught me by surprise. The fact we have to review 3 episodes in one episode.
We're reviewing basically half the season.
Yeah, because it's going to be 6 episodes long.
Yeah, we're already halfway through. And so, yeah, Leia showing up in the show and being one of the main characters is something that was expertly hidden.
Yeah.
We had no frame of reference that Leia was ever going to be in this show. But here we are, she's in the show, and she is, in my opinion, the second best, if not the best character in the show.
Yeah.
The actress that plays her played the young girl known as Girl in the movie Bird Box. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you remember Girl. That's the girl that's playing Leia. And she's doing a phenomenal job. She's killing it in this show.
I mean, yeah. Does it feel like she's Force sensitive when they introduce her character in this show?
Yes.
Being able to, like, deduct people's emotions.
Yes, that is a massive aspect of the Force, is the ability to sense emotions, like a lot of emotions, and her ability to completely tear her cousin to shreds on an emotional level by just calling out every aspect of their character and their faults is most definitely attributed to her Force sensitivity.
Yeah.
Because only someone highly attuned to the Force at her age can be able to make such mature and astute observations.
Yeah. And it makes sense, especially because she was never trained on the Force, so her abilities never grow past that.
Yeah, she doesn't get trained until after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Return of the Jedi is the next time we see her Force abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's able to sense the connection between her and Luke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the next time we see her Force sensitivity. So right now, seeing her Force sensitivity is really good. It's also great seeing that she is, one, the sarcastic person that we know and love that we saw back in the original trilogy. She was always sarcastic. but also that she's very much like her father and that she's very adventurous.
Yeah.
And also like her brother, and that she doesn't like being held down. Just like how we briefly see Luke during this show, and he's the same way. Doesn't like being tied down, constantly running away to imagine being a fighter pilot. She's constantly running away, imagining what it's like to just explore space.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy connection to make there, because she's out listing like the names of freighter craft coming in and out of Alderaan, and so...
Yeah. Also, Jimmy Smith's return to play as Bail Organa, and he's killing it, as usual.
Yeah.
I love that he actually straight up went to Mos Eisley and was like, bro.
That, like, yeah... because, of course, Obi-Wan rejects the mission to rescue Leia, and so he's like, no, this is my daughter. You're doing this.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but it's also like, bro, you made a promise to their mother that you would protect her, and you're currently running away.
Yeah.
You're currently running away. You're using the fact that you have to protect Luke as cover for the fact that you don't want to do anything anymore because you're afraid. And I like that Bail called him out.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the criminals that captured him is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, yeah. Also, we got cameos from R2-D2 and C-3PO in the show.
Yeah, somehow we got those in there.
I mean, makes sense that the last time we did see them was them being left with Bail Organa back during Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we saw them. Probably going to be the last time we see them for a while.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but they did get Anthony... I know, it is Anthony. Anthony Danos, he did come back to play 3PO.
Yeah.
So
they somehow find a way to keep bringing him back in.
Yep.
Despite the fact that he literally holds his character on a holy grail.
Yep.
I never understand it, but sure.
Yep.
Sure. C-3PO is going to be the one that changes entertainment for generations to come.
Listen, 3PO's a legend. But yeah, so episode 1, in my opinion, was a really good... Oh wait, we haven't even talked about the villains of episode 1. Yeah. Reva, the third sister.
And honestly, shout-outs to that actress, because...
Moses Ingram.
Because she is going through a lot of racist attacks right now.
Oh yeah, of course, because, you know, the fandom menace.
Yeah, the fandom menace is they're a special bunch.
Yeah, but despite them... yeah, no. She's fucking amazing.
Like, she's definitely, like, said that she's gotten support from fans trying to, like, counteract the racist attacks she's gotten, and, good on them, honestly.
Yeah, no, because she's fucking killing it. I am convinced that she is the youngling that we see in the opening trailer. Not the opening scene, when we see Order 66 happen. Specifically, Operation Nightfall in the the Jedi Temple.
Oh, you mean the kids walking down that bridge above the
Yes, I believe she was one of them.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about that opening scene and how it was so good?
Oh yeah, no, that scene was actually really good. Like like you can feel how tense that scene was.
Yes, and also very topical, unintentionally, given the recent events involving children and being shot at. We will be talking about that later, but it was very topical.
That is a connection, I guess.
It was very topical. One of the many topical issues that this series actually does cover. And so...
I don't know, Star Wars is only political when they put a girl in the lead.
Yeah, obviously Reva was political, but not, the fact that this is an entire allegory to the post-Holocaust struggles of the Jewish people.
No, that can't be it.
Yes. I hate you. But yeah, it's really, really, she's really well done. You can tell her anger and hatred.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The Grand Inquisitor has returned, which is really good, alongside the fifth brother being played by Sung Kang. And if you don't know, Sung Kang played, is it Juan? I think it's Juan. He played, I believe it's Juan in the Fast and the Furious movies.
Huh.
Is it? No, it's not Juan. It's, Han! Fuck! Han. Yes, he played Han in Fast and Furious. Including the best one, Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. The best Fast and Furious movie.
Yes, the one where it takes place in Tokyo, but they have no Japanese people.
Wait, what?
I think that's true, right?
No. What? Where did you get that from?
Or some of the lead characters.
Oh! Yeah, no.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
lead character.
Like, no lead characters are Asian. Like, didn't they decide, oh, this one... Oh, wait, no, it's the... Wait, is Tokyo Drift the second movie?
Third?
Okay, no. No, then second movie is what I'm thinking of with what I was about to say. Never mind.
No, in Tokyo Drift, the main character is a good old boy from Texas.
Exactly.
Is a good old boy from Texas. Fucking... Oh my god, who was it? Let me look that up really quick. I have to look it up really quickly. I have to. Hold on 1 second.
How did we get on this?
Because Sung Kang was in Fast and Furious, and he's also the fifth brother. Yes. So it had Let me see. So we had Yes. So we had Sean Boswell, the good old boy from Texas. Bow Wow, who played his. Bow Wow, who played as a Twinkie, who was the resident black friend. Except that his justification from being in Japan at the time is that his family is a military family. Then we had Natalie Kelly playing Neela, who no, she's a Peruvian woman that was born in Austria. She's a Peruvian woman of Australian nationality. Yeah.
Okay.
But the main villain, he was Japanese.
Okay, so none of the protagonists.
Yeah, no. None of the protagonists were Japanese.
Oh, that feels very good for a movie that takes place in Tokyo.
Yeah, none of the protagonists are Japanese. All the antagonists are. Even Sung Kang. Sung Kang's Korean. The only... I hate to say this, but in Tokyo Drift, the only Asian character that is considered a good guy is Han, and Han, Sung Kang's Korean.
Anyway,
Sung Kang, he plays as the fifth brother, who he's playing him really well because the fifth brother is basically the primary antagonist of season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. So this is very much showing how, yeah, he's been gunning for the top position of the Inquisitor since way back when. And he's a former Jedi. We also got the fourth sister, who is new. She has actually never been seen before. All we know is that in the comics, she gets her armor stolen by a rebel, who then pretends to be her.
Okay.
And then obviously the Grand Inquisitor, who first debuted in Star Wars: The Clone Wars as a Jedi Temple Guard, one that provided security over Ahsoka when she was arrested on conspiracy and terrorism charges.
Yeah, because that was before she defected from the Jedi Order, right?
Yes, I believe it's actually theorized that Ahsoka's trial and subsequent acquittal led to the disillusionment of the Grand Inquisitor as a Jedi Temple Guard, and thus allowed him to fall to the dark side, where he was then recruited by Palpatine, and now is the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
But yes, he is a Jedi Temple Guard. He's appeared back in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. He was in Rebels, and now here he is in this show. And honestly, he channeled Hans Gruber from fucking Inglourious Basterds so hard. Like, you know the scene I'm talking about, right?
Remind me.
I can think like a Jew.
Yeah.
He had that so hard in this show with how he talked about the Jedi hunt themselves and how... Yes.
Yeah. No, I see where you're pulling from.
Exactly, which once again furthers the allegory that the Jedi are Jews, and that the Inquisitors are the capos, and that the Empire at large is like Nazi Germany.
Yeah. A quick question: when was the Siege of Mandalore again? I'm just so I can.
The Siege of Mandalore happens concurrently with the Battle of Coruscant.
Okay, so that was early.
No. the end of the Clone Wars, the Battle of Coruscant, in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, okay.
It goes concurrently with that. It actually, Mandalore begins at the same time as the Battle of Coruscant, and the Siege of Mandalore ends right around the time that Obi-Wan defeats General Grievous.
Okay, so could you also compare like the genocide of Mandalorians to like the genocide of Jedi, in a way?
No, because the Mandalorians were not genocided in the Siege of Mandalore.
Oh no, their land was just taken.
Yes, but also the Siege of Mandalore was an extension of a Mandalorian civil war, as Bo-Katan was on the side of the clones and the Jedi, and her faction.
Okay.
She led a group of Mandalorians alongside another Mandalorian named Fen Rao, who helped in the Siege of Mandalore, fighting against Maul's Mandalorians.
Okay, I just had questions about like what happened during the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, no.
I haven't at all. So I just wanted to know like what were the political implications of it. And
the political implications of the Siege of Mandalore was basically that it allowed for Mandalore to be easily occupied by the Empire, because Order 66 happened very soon after the victory.
So it's more like they incited a civil war, which thus made it unstable and thus allowed them to take over that land.
Oh, I wouldn't say they incited the Civil War, considering the Civil War was incited by Maul years prior.
You get what like similarities I'm trying to get.
The culmination of the conflicts on Mandalore between the Death Watch and the Republic culminated in enough instability that once the Siege of Mandalore ended, the Republic presence there was more than enough to completely take over the remaining Mandalorians.
Okay.
And in fact, it's actually very funny, Maul's Mandalorians ended up becoming the ones most aligned with the Empire and taking power.
All right.
Yeah. But
I just had to ask those questions because like we're talking a lot about the political implications of what's going on in these shows, and I'm like,
yeah,
I actually do have like questions about that, considering I haven't watched the show yet.
Yes, you should watch it to fully understand.
But getting back to episode 1, any other thoughts that you had?
I just really love seeing how broken Obi-Wan is. I love Tika. Robbing him and selling him back his... Oh my god.
Anytime Ewoks are on screen, they're
That's
gold.
not an Ewok.
Or not Ewok, I'm sorry. God damn it. How did I screw that up? How did I screw up Jawas?
They're Jawas.
God damn it.
Yes.
See, I'm surprised we didn't see any Tusken Raiders on there, honestly.
Well, this is because it takes place in Mos Eisley.
That's true.
Yeah, the Jawas have a bigger presence in Mos Eisley. I liked how they were like, they folded up their dice game when the Imperial showed up. But yes, on to episode 2.
So this is where we had disagreements off stream, but I think I can more accurately describe what my disagreements were with this episode, because this episode, with episode 1, I would give that like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave episode a 7 out of 10.
With this one, I would go down to a 6, and I think I can word my disagreements with this better.
Okay, so episode 2 was about Obi-Wan going to Dayu, which is very topical because Dayu is inspired by Hong Kong, and so the concept of no information in or out, very, very topical. So, talking about the current situation going on in Hong Kong in present day.
So, when I watched this episode, Obi-Wan goes in, he gets the information he needs, he goes rescues Leia immediately in episode 2, and then his journey is to escape there and get over off planet. So my disagreements were that the impediments he faced weren't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, like I had a discussion with Shiny off screen. I wouldn't say, like, it felt convenient, but looking back on it, maybe just the impediments weren't as big, like, what I was expecting Obi-Wan to face.
Yeah. So, for me, the impediments that he faced were things that I expected, knowing that his journey in this episode would be very similar to that of the Jews on the Brika. When we met Haja, which is Kumail Nanjiani's character, who is basically a con man in the sense that he pretends to be a Jedi and he provides people with safe passage to like planets away from Imperial control, or at least lacks Imperial control, like Corellia. Basically, his character is that he represents the fact that people that are a part of these things are not all good people. Some of them do it because they know they have something to gain out of it, even if what they're doing is a net good. So when I saw his character, I saw him as a scam artist who was doing a good thing, but just profiting from it. And so his conflict from Obi-Wan was more that Obi-Wan was telling him that you should just be doing this because it's a... Not that Obi-Wan told him to do it, that he should do it because it's a good thing. But that when he actually met Obi-Wan, he met a real-life Jedi, he realized that, like, I should be helping people like him. Because he came in here looking for a kid, to save a kid. And he did that, and now he's being hunted for it. I should do what my job is. Help him. I know how to help people. I do it all the time. I scam people for it, but I can do it. And so that was the big character arc.
Yeah, and when I initially watched it, it was more of, I just saw him as a con man and nothing more.
Yeah. Which I think they tried to show that as, like, yeah, he's a con man, but at the end of the day, he had the connections necessary to smuggle people off world. Of course, he could help Obi-Wan do it.
Yeah. But then again, I would imagine he really doesn't have to change his character, because at the end of the day, his actions do inspire hope at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it's not necessarily that Haja is a bad person. It's more that he should be doing it right thing to do, not because there's money to be made.
Yeah. But I want to say, the part of this episode that I actually did like was Reva's character escalating like crazy. Like, she grew very power hungry, and as I'm sure anyone can tell you, obviously, the worst thing than a fascist is a power hungry fascist.
Yeah. On some level, though, I don't know if she's a fascist per se. Okay.
Well, she's in a fascist organization.
She's a fascist enabler, I can say that. I don't think she's a fascist herself, as I believe she's coming from a place of hurt and pain. And remember, if we're really looking at this, and remember that the Inquisitors are capos, think of it like this.
Because at the end of the day, the Inquisitors were all former Jedi.
Yeah. So if you think about it, and you think of the Jewish allegory, and you think of them as capos, think of it as all Inquisitors, most of the Inquisitors were Jewish people of high status who were able to keep a semblance of their status within the Nazi regime, becoming capos. Reva, on the other hand, was a lower Jew who didn't have status and was hunted just like the rest of the Jews, but she was lost. She was abandoned. She lost her people and was thus subjugated to torment and torture, but she was able to at least survive and become a capo herself. But because of that, she now has an immense rage at being forgotten, at
especially
being
because
abandoned.
It's the fifth brother no, is it the fifth brother or the Grand Inquisitor?
The Grand
it's
Inquisitor.
the Grand Inquisitor that goads all over her, saying
Yeah.
that she's just a lower commander.
Yeah, and which, if you think about it, once again going with this allegory, the Grand Inquisitor was a Jedi Temple guard. The fifth brother and the fourth sister were most likely Jedi Knights. Reva, if our theory holds true, was a youngling. She had no real formal training in the Force. She wasn't one that decided to defect to the winning side. She was broken and made into an Inquisitor, unlike them who chose to be Inquisitors.
Okay.
And I think that's where it's going with.
Yeah, and especially because she does look fairly young and has more ambition than the others.
Yeah, because
I mean,
going by the younglings that we saw in the temple during the opening of episode 1, they looked to be in their
they looked like 7 or 8.
I wasn't even gonna go no, because it's only been 10 years, so I would say she was like 10 or 12.
I wouldn't say 12.
Well, yeah,
maybe between 9 and 11, maybe.
No, she can't be 19 current day.
You don't think so?
No, she can't be. She looks to be in her 20s.
That's just bad writing.
I don't think it's bad writing. I just think like
Well, then again, we're all basing this off of a theory that you've crafted.
that's a common theory.
Yeah, or
But
that you've discussed.
yeah, and so, anyways, I think her whole thing is that she wants to curry favor with Darth Vader because it will allow her to gain more status and power so she can overcome the feelings that she has of rage and anger. And I feel that she doesn't like Kenobi, not because of anything Kenobi personally did to her. I think it's more about what Kenobi represented.
Oh yeah.
Kenobi, like Anakin and Kenobi were considered war heroes. They were the two most popular Jedi throughout the galaxy. They are known around the galaxy, feared by Separatists, loved by Republic. They were some of the greatest Jedi to ever live. And so for Obi-Wan to be considered a traitor and for someone who disappeared, like, to someone like Reva who probably looked up to him, it's probably a lot, especially because at the Revenge of the Sith, we know that he broke into the temple with Yoda, and all he did was send a distress signal telling people to stay away from the temple. But that's all he did.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he went and confronted Anakin, but he didn't do anything more for Jedi. Lost Jedi. He fucked off to Tatooine and disappeared. All the Jedi had left was to stay away from the temple, but they had no way of regrouping, no way of mounting a counterattack, no way of helping those that were stranded. And as a member of the High Council, Obi-Wan shirked his responsibilities, and I feel that is what her true rage is. She feels, on some level, kindred with Anakin in the sense that she feels betrayed and left behind by the Jedi.
And she can self-justify her her assault on like constantly going after him because of the fact that he's her ticket up.
Yeah. I feel like he doubles as not just
like a representation of her anger, but also her way to climb rank.
Yeah. And so it was really interesting, and then she stabbed the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, no, he's not dead. They are definitely not retconning rebels. He is alive, and to prove it, Utapauans, which is the species that the Grand Inquisitor is Utapauan, they have two stomachs. So, yeah. And also, let's be honest here, Fennec Shand, a normal human, survived getting a gut shot. The Grand Inquisitor, a strong dark side user, surviving being stabbed? Come on. This is the same series where Maul got cut in half and lived, on sheer rage alone. Come on, people. The Grand Inquisitor's still alive.
Yeah.
And so, episode 2, I really liked, especially because the conflict was about breaking Obi-Wan in the sense of, we don't need to capture him. We just need to squeeze him until he makes a mistake. Yeah. And he did. By getting caught up with all the bounty hunters and not being able to keep control of Leia, he ended up being forced to have to take a freighter, and that freighter is easily tracked.
Yeah.
Which will now lead us into episode 3.
Where my opinions on it vastly shift. I just want to get the good parts out of the way immediately. Where, yeah, Obi-Wan struggles in this episode, and that's what I expected from episode 2.
Yeah.
And then getting that in episode 3, honestly, that felt a lot better for me, not gonna lie. Especially when Darth Vader got right in front of him.
Oh, God. Darth Vader in this episode was amazing.
He was brutal.
This was the best hybrid combination of Hayden Christensen and James Earl Jones. The best.
Yeah.
Like, we see the anger and hatred that he has, far eclipsing anything Reva has for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, but we also see Obi-Wan's immense PTSD and guilt, and how the more he's with Leia, the more he sees Padme, the more he's reminded that he failed her.
Yeah, and also just the fact that Vader wants to put him through the same torture he went through.
The lighting the ground on fire and then dragging him through the fire, only allowing him to use one arm, because remember, when Anakin had to leave that lava bed, he only had one arm to use. So the fact that he only allowed Obi-Wan to use one arm as he dragged him through the fire was so brutal. It shows just how much anger and hatred he has for him.
And also, like even with the fight choreography itself, I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it showed that Obi-Wan actually did try and Vader didn't have to.
Yeah, it's definitely more reminiscent to the fight that we will eventually see in A New Hope.
In A New Hope, yeah. That's
where it's less about the spinning acrobatics, but now it's more about short, deliberate strikes at each other.
Yeah, it more deals with what's going on between the characters themselves, because the good part about the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader in A New Hope wasn't the cinematography, because let's face it, it was the first sword duel in all of Star Wars. It wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah.
What was going on was the dialogue and character interactions.
Yeah.
Whereas here, yeah, Vader wants his revenge.
If we can compare the three fights, the fight in A New Hope is basically two masters of their craft dueling it out. Meanwhile, the duel in Revenge of the Sith is an explosion of tension.
Yeah, I mean, it happening on Mustafar, where literally the battle arena around them is literally melting away and erupting right beside them.
Not just that, but Mustafar is also a dark side hub. So yeah. Anakin is fueled by anger and hatred of the dark side, especially on the heels of murdering the entire Separatist Council.
Yeah.
Including his most hated rival in Newt Gunray, man who frequently tried to assassinate and kidnap Padme. So, yeah, it was an explosion of tension. Meanwhile, with this one, it's Anakin at his most powerful, in a sense.
And his most vengeful.
Is Anakin at his most powerful and Obi-Wan at his weakest.
Yeah, because again, Obi-Wan is struggling to keep that sword up.
Yeah.
Because, as alluded to in Episode 2, Obi-Wan struggles to use the Force.
It's like Luke during The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
He's completely separated himself from the Force. He is just not in tune with it. He rejects it almost.
Yeah. Probably not to the same extent as Luke, but more of like, as the time goes on, not like a complete cutoff. It's just the years have gotten to him. Yeah.
The years have gotten him, but you can even tell that he kind of, like, while he does believe in the light side and stuff, he's completely forsake the Jedi. Because the Jedi code. He buried his lightsaber. He doesn't use the Force in his day-to-day life. He has completely rejected it, which is actually pretty common. We saw the same thing in Star Wars Rebels with Kanan. Kanan was someone that also did something very similar, where he cut himself from the Force. He wasn't in tune with it. He kept his lightsaber, but he preferred to use a blaster. And it wasn't until he met Ezra did he try and, reconnect with his roots as a Jedi.
Yeah, it's especially hard because, as shown in Mandalorian, and I'm sure in other animated shows as well, but you have to be in tune with the Force to wield a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like even non-Force sensitive people have to know how to be in touch with the Force even a little bit in order to wield one. Otherwise, it literally drains you.
It's why during Star Wars Rebels, Sabine had to train under Kanan, who had just been made a Jedi Knight, into learning how to use the Darksaber efficiently. She had to be trained by someone in tune with the Force to be able to even come close to using the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, who is not in tune with the Force, has not been. And one thing I do want to bring up is something that's been happening over the past 3 episodes, is Obi-Wan constantly trying to commune with Qui-Gon. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda said he would teach him, but it seems that Obi-Wan is failing. And I think the big emotional arc for Obi-Wan is that once he's finally reattuned himself to the Force, that is when Qui-Gon will appear. I think we will either get a voice or a visual Force Ghost cameo of Liam Neeson in the show.
I think that's what this show is setting up, especially because he reaches out to Qui-Gon at least almost once an episode.
Yes, and every time he fails because he's praying, not trying to be one with the Force. He's praying to the Force as if it's an external power, when we know that the Force, the living Force, is something that is in everyone. It binds everyone. It flows throughout everything in the galaxy. It is not something that you pray to as something external from you. It is something within you, something you harness within yourself. And he's not doing that.
Yeah.
And this episode also showed more Leia goodness. She is a phenomenal liar. um, Freck. Oh my god, Oh my god, Freck being played by Zach Braff. Jesus Christ.
That character design was really good, not gonna lie.
Yes, and also how he's just a massive Imperial simp. So much so that all the fucking, which is actually really interesting because it's another reflection because the Empire is very speciesist. They hate aliens. So seeing that common grunt soldiers who are humans all being like, hey Frack, thanks Frack, like being on great terms with him, really shows almost a level of disconnect between Imperial doctrine and dogma and what it's like as a day-to-day citizen with day-to-day interactions with troops.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Freck was insane. Obi-Wan slicing a man in half by shooting him onto the fence was unexpectedly brutal. I'm going to say this right now. Obi-Wan is a straight-up gangster throughout this show. Like, he is very street smart. He is willing to break into spice labs. Break into spice labs. He bitch slaps people. He pulls people at gunpoint. He quick draws on people. He shoots people with no remorse. This man is a straight up gangster, and I love it.
Yeah.
One thing from last episode I really liked was the girl that gave him spice. That's Ewan McGregor's real life daughter.
Oh really?
Yep. That was his real life daughter, and in fact, she's also the great niece of the actor that played Wedge Antilles back in the original trilogy.
Huh.
And also played Wedge in Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so seeing him do more of the same, just shoot people and kill them with a blaster, despite the fact that he thinks they're very uncivilized, he's pretty good. Pretty good with a blaster. Which is no surprise because if you watch Star Wars The Clone Wars, he is a very good shot, especially with a sniper rifle. There's an arc in Star Wars The Clone Wars where he is... Remember when I told you about Reiko Hardin?
Yeah, where he tries to impersonate being like a mercenary or something?
Yeah, he's pretending to be a bounty hunter that's trying to assassinate Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that he has to use a sniper rifle, and he's very good at it. Yeah. He's a very dangerous shot. And so the show has continued that trend. We then meet Nala. Nala. Tala. We meet Tala, who is an Imperial officer who is also a member of the Path, which, once again, is very much reminiscent of Nazi SS officers that actually helped Jews escape concentration camps. She's a very interesting character, very much showing that those that joined the Empire didn't do so necessarily because they are malicious people, because if you remember, and this is something, once again, if you watch Clone Wars, you will see that the general public became more and more distrustful of the Jedi and more authoritarian as the war progressed, as they felt lawlessness and order had been completely disrupted. And so when the Empire came around, they saw it as a start of something great. But then seeing it for what it really is, which is just an authoritarian fascist police state, she's now rebelling against it in secret. Also, I really like the reference to Quinlan Vos. Quinlan Vos is a Jedi Master who, in the expanded universe, constantly flirts between the dark and the light side, and did inevitably survive Order 66 on Kashyyyk, fighting his way through clone troopers and inevitably killing his clone commander before disappearing. In canon, he's very much similar. He is considered a loose cannon. He appears in an episode of Clone Wars, and he actually had an entire arc for him in Clone Wars set out for him before Clone Wars was canceled in the Disney buyout of Lucasfilm, but was then adapted into a book called Dark Disciple. In it, Quinlan Vos was given the mission by the Jedi High Council, including Obi-Wan, to assassinate Count Dooku. And to do so, he had to team up with Dooku's former apprentice, Asajj Ventress. The two of them fall in love, but then Quinlan Vos is swayed to the dark side. Asajj Ventress helps him regain to the light, but in exchange she sacrifices herself in a fight against Dooku. And so then Quinlan returns to the light, and he returns to the Jedi Order, and he fights to the end of the Clone Wars, where, just like in the expanded universe, he avoids Order 66, and in this canon, he is now helping younglings through the path. Very much like the Brika. So he's helping younglings to the path, and we do know that Quinlan Voss survives to Return of the Jedi, as it's stated that he does see the fall of the Empire.
Huh.
So, yeah. So it was really good seeing a reference to Quinlan Voss as well, and really just showing how important this allegory to the Jews' struggle in the Holocaust and the post-Holocaust to the story of Obi-Wan and the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah.
We even see that even more with when Reva infiltrates that back room. She sees the Jedi insignia, and she goes to touch it, but immediately lashes out in rage. Really just showing that her rage isn't just towards Obi-Wan, but it's to the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah. Anything else of the episode that really caught your eye?
Ned B holding a fucking mallet ready to bash that stormtrooper's head in. Yeah, I mean, he did say that droid was about to literally murder him, and I love it. Because you can even see subtly in the scene when he goes to open the door, he picks something up, but then you see, yeah, he did pick something up. He picked up a mallet, and he's gonna bash this man's brains in. I fucking loved it. I also liked that they did actually not confirm, but you know how Reva is fighting for the Grand Inquisitor position?
Yeah.
They did imply that the Grand Inquisitor is still alive, seeing as how no one has been promoted to the position. Grand Inquisitor, that Reva, can't get promoted to it. She has to.
And Vader's still holding it above her head.
Exactly. And we see it again with the fifth brother saying how he is supposed to be next in line. How he is owed the seat as the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which he technically achieves by Rebel Season 2. He's never called the Grand Inquisitor in Rebel Season 2, but he very much acts like the Grand Inquisitor in Rebel Season 2. But overall, that was our review of Kenobians across the board.
767 for me.
Yeah, I give them straight 7s. Really good, really solid. But I'm very much fearful because the beginning of Book of Boba Fett was really solid in its first half, and then the second half shit the bed.
Yeah.
So again, I really hope this doesn't happen.
Again, this show has to prove itself because my confidence in Star Wars, thanks to Book of Boba Fett, was diminished greatly.
Yes, but this show is definitely bringing things back up. I love what they're doing with Vader. I love what they're doing with Obi-Wan. I love how Leia is basically our secondary protagonist, and she's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I love Reva as our main antagonist, and I even love the fifth brother as the secondary antagonist as well.
Yeah. Also showing that Lucasfilms can't really get away from the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, but then again, the Skywalker saga is considered everything that takes place between episodes 1 and 9.
Yeah, even though we should be starting a new trilogy soon, but apparently it looks like we're going to be straying away from that again.
Yeah, for now. They need someone to do the new trilogy. They're still looking for people.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I really liked was in episode 2, we saw a former member of the 501st Legion on Daiyu.
Oh yeah, played by Tamara Morrison.
Yes, which is really good. And it's actually really funny how Obi-Wan first sees him and he's hesitant because that's a clone that betrayed him. But he still takes pity on him because just like the Jedi, the clones were wiped out pretty much. Like, not wiped out and they were genocided, but they've been washed up and used, and now look at him, he's homeless.
Yeah, like pretty much they were just equipment. They used them, and since they serve no use anymore, just toss them to the side.
Yep. Which also really shows that, yeah, the clones were phased out and they were just left to be homeless. And we're probably going to see more of that in the Bad Batch as well as in Andor.
Yep.
So yeah, it was good to see Tamara Morrison again.
Okay.
He said he was willing to play any clone that Lucasfilm wanted to show in live action, and he held true to it.
Okay.
Yep. So, now that we have finally gotten out of everything Disney related, let's talk about some Pokemon.
Alright, so managed to get some Scarlet and Violet news finally, despite the fact that the game comes out in like 5 months.
Yep, comes out on my birthday, November 18th. And so, what did you think of the trailer?
Honestly, what caught my eye first was the better models. Honestly, I did not expect the 3 starters to look as good as they did.
Yeah, they look really good. Quaxley still looking like the best starter, with the fucking Josuke hair flip and everything.
Yeah.
Fucking love Quaxley.
And of course, Pokemon Company had to go ahead and expose us to this generation's Wooloo. We've got Lechonk.
Lechonk is amazing. I love it so much.
The only thing that like has me worried is like I want this to be on the tier of like Hippowdon as far as like a good evolution, but knowing Pokemon, we're probably going to get something on the tier of Diggersby because it looks like it's going to be like the standard normal type that we get in each gen.
I think it's going to be normal fighting type in its final evolution.
You think so?
The Pokedex description for it says that its entire body is muscle. Which gives me massive Kingpin vibes.
But yeah, no, everyone loves Lechonk.
Yes, I love Lechonk. We also have Smoliv.
Yeah, we got Smoliv, and then what was the other one?
Smoliv, and then the last one is called Palmy.
Yeah, and then we also got the legendaries. We got Miraidon and
Koraidon.
Koraidon, yeah.
Which it seems to be the theme of Scarlet and Violet is the past and the present. Notice how the professors are named Sada and Turo, as in Pasada and Futuro, Spanish for past and future. And then Koraidon and Miraidon, Kurai is Japanese for past, and Mirai is Japanese for future.
Yeah.
So very much it seems to be the whole dynamic of Scarlet and Violet is the past and the future.
Especially because the one representing Violet has jet boosters for feet.
Yes. And
then of course the other one we have
Koraidon.
We have Komodo 2.0.
Yes, I think that Koraidon is a dragon fighting, and I believe
instantly.
that Miraidon is electric dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We also got our rival Nimona, who she looks cool.
Yeah.
She got that dyed green hair. The thing also Sada. Professor Sada is the new waifu of the generation. But also, did you see the memes that Turo looks like the Giga Chad meme?
Yes.
He looks like the fucking Giga Chad meme. It's amazing.
No, I've seen Photoshop of like, oh, this is Professor Sigma.
Oh my god, yes. But he's such a Giga Chad. But you can even notice the past and future motifs in their clothing, where Sada, she wears like a tank top that has like fangs on it, like Pokemon fangs, like sharpened fangs, while Turo wears a more futuristic type of suit. So yeah, it seems very much that Scarlet and Violet is about the past and the future. One thing that is really major that I haven't seen people talk about is 4-player co-op in the open world.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it looks like battles transition in the open world pretty seamlessly, like how we've seen in Legends Arceus.
Yes, something the 4-player co-op is something I never thought we would see. I mean, the regular co-op that we got in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I thought was great, and I always fantasized about 4-player co-op, and I didn't think they'd do it, but the bastards did it. We're getting 4-player co-op in open world.
And also, looks like you can just trade from open world right there as well.
Yes, which is looking to be amazing. And it looks like those little kiosks, which look like a Pokemon Center Pokemon hybrid, is where you can, get people to join you for the open world. Which, Sovereign and I are going to be open worlding this game as co-op together.
Yes, definitely.
God, but... Also, we got the return of several Pokemon.
Yeah, we got the Fletchling line, Venonat,
okay,
Pupitar,
Bagon. No. We don't give a fuck about them. We're talking about our Lord and Savior, Toxapex, has returned for the 3rd generation in a row. Ready to wall the fuck out of OU all over again. Let's go! Toxapex is back. One of my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon is back. Ready to wall OU to shit. I love it.
But do you think they're going to cut Pokemon this gen?
Yes, they already said they would.
Because, I can imagine them, doing a cut Pokedex like they did in Sun and
Moon. They kind of said going forward. So, back when they initially announced that not all Pokemon were going to be in Sword and Shield, they said it was going to be like that moving forward. And, every game released subsequently has proved that to be exactly true. I see this new game as being no different.
Yeah, because, I mean, we got that in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus.
I see this game as no different. I don't think we're going to have all Pokemon.
Yeah, we probably will go through that again, most likely just because we're going to get updated models for a bunch of Pokemon.
Not just that, but we are very close to 1,000 Pokemon. We are now at 908 Pokemon. Now we are at 900, so 908, 911 with the 3 starters, 914 with the 3 new Pokemon, and now 916 with the 2 legendaries.
Do you think they'll add more than like 70 Pokemon this time? Because Sword and Shield didn't add that much in comparison to other gens.
Well, seeing as with the advent of Pokemon being introduced mid-gen ever since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and then them sticking to that idea with Legends Arceus, I feel like we probably just won't see all Pokemon from Gen 9 in this game, but we'll see them in other games as well.
Or hell, even Sword and Shield brings that example.
Oh, yeah, DLC.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll get in the base game is not all Pokemon introduced within the gen.
Okay.
I do hope we will see regional variants, because I just realized we don't actually know the name of this region.
That is true. Yeah, we don't have a name for this region yet, and we don't have this region's variation of Meowth yet.
Yeah, we actually haven't. Palmy looks to be the Pikachu clone.
Yeah, because it is electric type.
Yeah, and it has static.
Yeah.
So Palmy looks to be the Pikachu clone.
And then it looks like Lechonk is just going to be the normal...
the normal type rodent.
It doesn't... Well, because pigs aren't rodents, but it's effectively going to be this generation's normal rodent.
Well, for a while it was rodent until I would probably say up until X and Y, because Bunnelby...
Bunnelby is... Aren't rabbits considered part of that line?
Okay, well then if not Bunnelby, then most definitely with Yungoos, who's a mongoose.
Yeah, well...
And then Wooloo, which was a sheep.
Yeah.
And so now we got Lechonk.
Well, actually, no, for that generation, it was Greedent.
Right, I forgot it was Greedent too.
And then...
Scovet and Greedent, yeah, you're right.
And then actually, no, for Gen 3, it was Zigzagoon.
That's a rodent.
Yeah.
No, I was saying that the gen that would get rid of the rodent would probably be Gen 7.
Yeah.
Because Yungoos is a mongoose.
Oh, wait, I thought you meant Zangoose. Never mind.
No, Yungoos.
No, I got that mixed up.
Yungoos that evolves into Donald Trump. But, yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
The 4-player co-op has me more excited than it has any right to. As for the designs, I love Lechonk. And
everyone does.
Everyone loves
Lechonk.
I love Lechonk. I still love Quaxley, and I really like Koraidon. So I'm definitely getting Scarlet, especially because Professor Sada is the waifu. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Other news in Pokemon. Pokemon Home came out in between podcast episodes. And when it initially dropped, not Pokemon Home came out, Pokemon Home 2.0 came out.
Yeah, we got a patch for it that allows for Pokemon from
Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus to transfer to Sword and Shield, as well as allowing for Hisuian variants within Pokemon Go to appear in, to be transferred into Pokemon Home.
Yep. And they screwed it up somehow because Minior glitched the whole server into locking people out of their accounts.
It was either through one of the Miniors getting their data removed, or AZ's Floette having its data removed, which caused a massive glitch which affected many players, myself included, from being able to use the service for 2 weeks. Or I think it was for 10 days. And then they fixed it. And now it works perfectly, and I'm really happy. And they also are offering 10 days of free premium for those affected. So, yeah, I get 10 days of free premium, despite the fact that I have the year-long pass.
Yep.
But it's cool. I like using it. I think my next big adventure for Pokemon before Scarlet and Violet is completing all the research tasks within Pokemon Home in preparation. I once again have caught every Pokemon that has ever existed, including all the new Pokemon that appeared in Legends Arceus. So I cannot wait to create a new Living Dex.
Yeah, no,
once
I'm on.
Scarlet Violet comes out and I put it in home.
Yeah, no, I'm already on my Living Dex journey, and let's say Sword and Shield was not fun.
I like doing the Sword and Shield Living Dex.
Well, it's the wild area exclusives. Those were annoying, especially because of the the weather-locked ones.
That's fair, yeah.
Like, for some of the weather-locked ones, I had to go back to Sun and Moon for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I did not want to wait for, like, foggy weather in the Dusty Bowl just to catch a Mawile.
Yeah. Or you could have just transferred a Mawile from a previous gen and then just bred it.
That's what I did.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I ended up doing.
Okay.
That's
oh, wait. Did you not have Mawiles already from previous games? Or did you have to go and catch one?
I just went and got one.
See, I've had Mawiles from back in, like, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald that I just kept transferring up.
I didn't care to look. I just like, oh, I can catch one in Sun and Moon, and it's fairly easy. Like, it just shows up. Like, okay,
Yeah.
easy enough.
Fair enough. And then, so that was really cool. So I'm really excited, especially because, I caught a shiny Hisuian Zoroark, and I have two of them now in Legends Arceus, and Hisuian Zoroark is going to be in Scarlet and Violet, so sending that bitch over.
Oh, same here. I think mine's actually timid, so that's awesome.
Yeah, no, one of mine is timid as well.
Oh, man.
One of mine is timid, so, yeah, I'm sending that bitch over to Scarlet and Violet, and it's going to be fucking lit.
I'm also happy because my Arceus is jolly.
I haven't checked what my two Arceuses are. I'll have to check and see. I now actually have 3 Arceuses total. I have one from that event back in Black and White, and then I have the 2, one from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and one from Legends Arceus. So now I have 3 Arceuses.
Same. I think my Arceus is like still in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire from back in Black and White.
I have 6 Shaman. I have 6 Shaman now.
Oh, I gotta look because they did that like 20th anniversary mythical giveaway, and all my mythicals are there.
I have like 6 Shamans. I have 6 Shamans, 3 Victinis, 4 Darkrai's, 2 Manaphies, 2 Fiones, a metric fuck ton of Regigigases, a bunch of Cresselias, a lot of Heatrans, several Dialga, several Palkia, several Giratinas, many Azelfs, Uxies, and Mesprets. I have a lot of Sinnoh legendaries because I love Sinnoh.
As you should. As you should.
I also have a lot of Hoenn legendaries. I have 4 Regirocks, 4 Registeels. No, 4 Regirocks, 5 Registeels, and 6 Regices. Actually, I'll pull this up later, but I want to count how many of each legendary I have because I have a fuck ton of them. But, yeah, Pokemon Home stuff. Really excited. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Gonna get it for my birthday. Super excited. Like what I'm seeing.
They better push that Pokemon Home compatibility soon, because I am not waiting for that shiny charm, I swear to God.
Oh, yeah, I swear to God, they better let Pokemon Home be compatible with Scarlet and Violet day 1.
Yeah.
Like, because that was
honestly,
ridiculous.
I would be happy week 2, but after that, I'm rioting.
Yeah, same. Because we had to wait like 2 months after Sword and Shield.
We had to wait like 5 months after Legends Arceus.
Exactly.
And that would be 8 months for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Exactly. No. We waited 5. It'd be 7.
You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You get where I'm going.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, it was long. But yeah, that was our Pokemon segment. Now let us talk about our last media segment, Dragon Ball.
Yes.
So let us talk with the short one. New Dragon Ball Super superhero trailer where Bulma is now Bulma now has an ass matching that of She-Hulk. Why, Toy? Why?
It gets people hyped for the movie.
I think people are there for Gohan. Speaking of, though, Gohan looks fucking amazing in this movie.
The animation in general has looked like it's justifying its art style, because, I mean, we've had a lot of hesitation coming for the CG.
But the CG is now looking phenomenal.
It looks better than any video game I've ever played.
Yeah, the CG is great. I cannot wait to see Gohan and Piccolo fighting it out with the Gammas. We're definitely going to see Goku and Vegeta and Broly. I still think there's probably one other android that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But,, overall, movie is looking really good. Do we have a release date? I know it got pushed back because Toy got hacked.
Yeah. It's at least happening in the summertime for a Japan release.
Yes, hopefully it comes out fall for America. It was supposed to have come out the same week as Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah. But we also do get glimpses of Gohan, Goten.
We're getting Fat Gotenks back again.
Yes, can't wait for that.
Yes.
Finally, they age up those damn characters.
We talked about that last time we talked about it, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 2-hour movie, initial release. The movie comes out in 10 days in Japan! Wait, how long until it gets uploaded to Pornhub?
Does that verification system let that pass through anymore?
Well, actually, yeah, never mind. Then again, when Resurrection F came out, I watched it on X videos. So...
Important things to discuss.
I will... Whenever it releases, I will be refreshing X videos every day until I see that movie show up.
No, I'm experiencing it in theaters. I'm sorry, but the hype from Dragon Ball Super Broly can only be experienced once in a lifetime.
Wait. Who's to say I'm not watching it in theaters either?
No, I'm making it my first experience with this movie.
Ah.
You cannot stop me from experiencing this movie in a crowd of Dragon Ball fans. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Remember that time we saw Dragon Ball Super Broly?
Yeah. It was pretty hype.
That surpasses the hype from any
Endgame.
Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Any Marvel movie.
Yeah. The hype.
Exponentially.
The hype that we had during Dragon Ball Super Broly was far more hype than any hype that I had.
You had people standing out of their seats. You had people shouting TFS quotes. You had it all.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I'll skip the X videos. I'll watch it in theaters whenever it comes out. But yeah, I'm excited for Dragon Ball Superhero. But now, let us talk about the main part of Dragon Ball that we didn't get to talk to. Let's talk about, I believe it's Dragon Ball's Chapter 81, right? Dragon Ball Super Chapter 81?
Yep, I believe so.
Yes.
And, wow. Gas will not let up.
Yeah, no, Gas is very much the strongest. However, I'm now really wondering, what wish did Alec make?
So you think it's a little further than just wishing to have Gas be the strongest in the world?
Yeah, I'm wondering what it could be, because the more we go back to Alec and the more he gives insight about Gas being strong, the less it sounds like he made the same wish Granola did.
Yeah.
Yes, Gas aged up, and that did allow Gas the mental fortitude to overcome their awakening form and now master it, making him far stronger, but I'm just not sure what wish he made.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the main draw of this chapter is the fact that Goku and Vegeta now completely understand. Well, for Goku, he now completely understands what Saiyan Pride is, and for Vegeta, he now feels like he re-understands what Saiyan Pride is supposed to be.
Yeah. Especially because a lot of the implications being that for both of them to unlock like their further godly forms with Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, they have to go back to their Saiyan lineage, and yeah, it's looking like that's what this chapter definitely emphasizes.
Yeah, it's definitely like showing them that they need to, what's it called? They needed to trust themselves, really.
Yeah.
They needed to trust themselves, and actually, for Goku, it was understanding that having Saiyan Pride is, like, not something he should be averse to. Because one thing that has been stated constantly in Dragon Ball proper was that Goku never fought to win. He always fought to get better. And this is now very much showing that fact. That Goku now realizes he must fight to win. And I really do like that. Especially because some people thought it was bullshit, but to that I refer them to Vegeta's iconic speech back during the Buu Saga, where he very clearly says Goku never fights to win. He always fought to be better.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing that Goku now knows he needs to fight to win.
Yeah, because constantly we see his journey is always just get better, no matter what stands in the way. Ethics and morals be damned.
Exactly.
But now we see a complete subversion of that, where we see, yeah, just that he needs to learn to actually go towards winning, which is very weird to say.
Very weird to say, but when you look back on the series, yes, Goku fights to win, but winning is not like his...
It's not like his ultimate goal.
It's not his ultimate goal. It's more like it's a goal, but it's never his primary goal in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he gives up to Cell. He, what other things has he done?
He gives up to Cell. He doesn't try and win against Majin Buu. Majin Buu, not Kid Buu.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to win against Majin Buu. When it comes to Beerus, he's just kind of testing his power. When it comes to Frieza, he beats him, but he doesn't finish the job. When it comes to Hit, he fights him, but he doesn't care to win because he feels that Monaka's in his back pocket. When it comes to Zamasu, I feel that's one of the only times he fought to win.
Yeah, that was the only time because, a whole timeline was at stake, and Goten and Chi-Chi getting killed is definitely a good motivator.
Yeah.
So, aside from stuff in the Goku Black arc, that's pretty much, the only time that we see him, ultimately try to win because, another person's universe is at stake.
Yeah, but now he's learning that he must fight to win. Meanwhile, with Vegeta, he learned that taking pride in the Saiyan heritage is not about taking their sins, but taking pride in being a part of what they are, which some people find problematic, and I can explain why. So, the way Monaito phrases it is that he kind of phrases it in the sense that, so what that the people that you're a part of did bad things in the past. It's in the past and it shouldn't matter to you. The problem is that, one, Vegeta very much was a part of that, but two, it kind of sounds like a bit of whitewashing, which is something that Japanese history has a problem with how many people in Japanese culture kind of like to downplay or outright just not talk about the horrific crimes that Imperial Japan did to mainland China and Korea during World War II. And so, especially with how Attack on Titan ended and how it very much had, a lot of very questionable politics to begin with. Some people saw the way Monaito kind of hand-waved the atrocities of the Saiyans a little problematic, especially because the Saiyans not only invaded his planet, but they're the reason why his surrogate son's a fucking orphan. Well, Elec is the reason why Granola's an orphan. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, it was a bit problematic. I can see why. I think it was probably just very not good translation.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think it was a good translation, but I also feel that the underlying message is still somewhat problematic to begin with.
Like I've studied Japanese. I don't think that's something that can be lost in translation.
Yeah. The message in and of itself was still pretty problematic.
Yeah, no, interpreted properly, and that's. I don't think there's any way you can justify that.
It was pretty problematic, all things considered, given the context of Japanese culture.
Especially because Vegeta committed how many genocides?
More than we know.
This is a man who can commit a genocide in the span of 2 seconds.
Exactly. And the fact that he's feeling guilt about it is supposed to be,
that's a good part of his character arc. That's something that we've seen inklings of since, in the manga, we've seen that ever since the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc.
Yeah, and I think what it was supposed to be was that Vegeta is allowed to
I think it's, what they're trying to hint at is, him moving past it, but, again, the way they worded it, it was, him,
forgetting it all.
And
because, I believe what it was trying to be is that Vegeta shouldn't feel so much guilt to the point where he's fucking suicidal like he was in the beginning of the arc, where he was, letting Granola just fucking kill him because he was so guilt-ridden.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, we get to the action, which is seeing the transformation sequence of Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Instinct Vegito to fight Awakened Gas. The panel of them powering up together was amazing.
Yes.
And the general fight was really good. And I actually am in the minority in that I'm glad Gas didn't just fucking roll over. Like, he's keeping it up with them. He's fighting really well. Some people are like, oh, why is Goku getting hit? And it's like, okay, people. Ultra Instinct was never auto-dodge the technique.
That's never what it was.
And also, it's pretty ridiculous considering...
Why did Jiren hit Goku? I thought you could dodge any hit.
I was about to say, considering every appearance of Ultra Instinct we've seen in both the anime and the manga, and even in, even in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, Goku's been hit. He's been hit by Jiren, he's been hit by Kefla, he's been hit by Cumber, he was hit by Hearts, he was hit by who was it? He was hit by Hearts, he was hit by Moro, he's being hit by Gas, he was hit by Granola. Like, Ultra Instinct has never been auto-dodge. He's always been hit whenever he's used it. And so, I thought the fight was really good. Seeing the Gallic Kamehameha was good once again. And seeing Vegeta use a straight-up, like, Hakai in the way Toppo used it in the Tournament of Power was also really good.
Yeah.
And I like how Gas hasn't fully given up on energy constructs either, as it was because of his energy constructs it allowed him to withstand the Hakai.
Yeah. And also the implication that Goku can survive getting Hakai'd.
Yes, something that we knew he could do back in the anime, but had not been shown within the manga.
Yeah.
So, yeah, overall, I thought the chapter was good in terms of character development and good in terms of action. There was a problematic aspect, so overall, I'd probably rank the chapter a 6.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Media segment's over.
Finally, 2.5 hours later, we have gotten through all of our media segments. That's what we get for missing 2 weeks worth of content. And unfortunately, it was 2 weeks that was pretty much every day something new came out that we were like, oh fuck, we have to talk about this too.
You want to get the lighthearted one out of the way first?
What lighthearted political segments do we have? All right, Amber Heard. Yes, let's talk about...
Let me get this out of the way first, because
Yes.
I didn't want to talk about this, but it's the thing that happened today, because I'll just be upfront. I don't care about this at all.
Yeah.
This was the big TMZ hype of the general public's view, and let's just say I think both of these are despicable pieces of human garbage, so I just don't care.
For me, on one hand, I feel like it's good that it's out there because, yes, male victims of assault and abuse do exist, and they are frequently ignored, and to say that Johnny Depp was not a victim of abuse is wrong. However, I definitely feel that a lot of the public sentiment and public, spectacle about this entire trial was very much rooted in a bit of sexism, in the sense that this was not necessarily about the fact that Johnny Depp was abused, but more like, see, women do it too, and so women are bad. And it felt like people cared less about Johnny and more about shitting on Amber.
Oh no, this was an MRA event of the decade type thing.
Yeah, it very much...
So let's go ahead and go over what has happened as a result of this several week-long trial. So at the end, they finally did... the jury did come together and say that Johnny Depp would be rewarded $15 million for defamation from Amber Heard.
Yes.
But also that Amber Heard would be rewarded $2 million for her countersuit. Which, okay.
Okay, I mean, I feel like he definitely deserves some money considering he literally lost out on being Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts. Literally the main villain of the Harry Potter spinoff, and mind you, they're shit, but still.
Yeah.
That's money. He lost.
Yeah. Just $2 million just seems like... Wow.
Yeah.
Pennies on the dollar right there.
Yeah, I mean, considering how much money she definitely lost from getting cut out of Aquaman 2.
Yeah. Because, I mean, uh, James Wan and what's his name?
Who are you talking about?
Actor for Aquaman.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. They actually fought hard to keep her in.
Yeah.
So she's only going to be there for like less than 10 minutes. She's effectively going to have the same amount of screen time as Rose Tico.
Ooh. We're talking Rise of Skywalker Rose, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes. That's a huge yikes.
Which, I mean, mind you, this is the result of being an abusive person and instead of, being bullied. So,
yeah.
Different circumstances, but this time it's a little bit more,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more justified here.
Yeah. Overall, my opinions of this is that, was Johnny Depp abused? Most definitely. Was he an asshole, and did he have issues like being a coke addict? Which, there's nothing wrong inherently with being a coke addict, but it does not necessarily lend one to be part of a very healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Did Amber Heard lie about doing coke herself? Oh, most certainly she did. Because, let's be honest here, it's Hollywood. Everyone fucking does coke.
Yeah. And just because all the evidence has come out, because, like, you could see evidence of, like, Johnny Depp breaking cabinets, and, of course, the stories that have come out from Amber Heard about throwing bottles. At the end of the day, all of the evidence has come out is at the discretion of the jury, and they came out to the decision that they did.
Yeah. I think he was justified in winning because it's a defamation suit, and considering this is in response to the suit that happened in the UK, which led people to label him an abuser, and I believe even, a sexual assault, like a sexual assaulter or a rapist?
Because ultimately, the suit in the UK led to her becoming, a speaker for, domestic abuse, and ultimately...
And it's what cost Johnny Depp his role as Grindelwald.
Because ultimately it wasn't like her saying, oh yeah, he's a domestic abuser. It's more like, oh, she rose up and calls herself a speaker, which the implication is what led to the lawsuit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, again, I don't care enough about this, so I didn't look at any of this. Like, I only saw the results and I'm like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah, I kind of looked down and saw, like, oh, it's over, just because I was like, wow, I did not expect this trial to ever fucking end. I was hearing about it days on end, and I was like, listen, bro, like, Johnny Depp, was he screwed? Oh, absolutely, but yeah.
Like, the most exciting thing that I ever paid attention to was literally men's rights activists talking about it.
Yeah, and not real men's rights activists, the men's rights activist TM, aka misogynist in hiding.
Yeah, we all love to shame the meninists.
Yeah, not the actual men's rights activists, the ones that actually care about helping men and not just shitting on women in an excuse to help men in quotation marks. The real men's rights activists were talking about the fact that Johnny Depp hadn't been able to come forward with this information in the past was an issue.
Yeah.
Which most definitely was.
Okay. Yeah, so that goes over everything with that. Pretty much. Just
now we have to talk about
the 4 mass shootings that have happened over the past week.
2 weeks. Month. It's been a month.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No. 4 in the month. So let's start with the...
So we have the Buffalo shooting.
We have the Buffalo shooting. We have the Uvalde, Texas shooting. We have the Taiwan shooter. And we have Tulsa?
We have Tulsa, yes. This got reported today.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to surprise you with this as some, like, moment of, like, oh, look, another mass shooting happened. But, yeah, you're on the ball with that one.
Yeah.
When did you actually find out about that?
Just now.
Same. Same. Literally, as we were talking, I looked on my phone. I was like, oh, another mass shooting happened. Why are we okay with this?
Yeah. Then again, you gotta remember, like, last year, over 200, what would be considered 200 mass shootings happened.
Yeah, remember, the definition of a mass shooting is literally killing more than 3 people.
Yeah.
Like...
But there's also a difference between the FBI definition, which is killing more than 3 people, which many people are considered mass shooters that we wouldn't consider mass shootings because they would kill people in what would be considered, like,
like domestic
disputes or gang-related disputes.
But,
But when we talk about mass shooting, we talk about killing mass numbers of people in public areas.
Yeah.
And so, which one do you want to start with? Because all of these are equally as depressing.
Let's go through. I think it's just appropriate to go through chronological order.
So we will start with the Buffalo shooter.
So this one actually has the biggest importance because this one actually has racial motivations tied with it.
Yes.
As the man posted a manifesto.
And he basically said that the Great Replacement theory is the reason why he did this. He believes that white people are being replaced by minorities and in a malicious way, and thus he had to course correct by killing black people.
Yeah. Like, what was even funny is, like, I even heard a story, like, where he went up to a white cashier and he was, like, pointed the gun at him and is like, and he, oh, I'm sorry, and then just wandered off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was true, but that probably did happen.
I know he walked up to one of the white cashiers and said, "I'm sorry."
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which.
Oh my God! And we're okay with this. Like, the country as a whole just won't move past this.
Yeah, because mass shootings not only are common because of the amount of guns per person, guns per capita that exist in this country, but also because the modern Republican Party and all their pundits are stochastic terrorists, and they encourage this type of shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And so he
had gunned down 11 black people and
killed 11 black people. He also murdered the security guard, thus firmly proving another example of how the whole, the way to beat a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun is patently false, because the good guy with a gun had a gun, he shot at him, and he still got fucking shot to death.
Yep. Although the next shooting is a bigger refutation of that argument, as we will soon see.
Actually, the next shooting chronologically will be the California church shooting. Is the Taiwanese church shooting committed by a Las Vegas man named David Chow. He went to a California church, and he killed. How many people did he kill? 9. No, was it 9? Fuck. God, why am I forgetting this? I'm reading through it again. So there were multiple people. Four days. So I'm just gonna say this: 40 people were in the church when it happened.
And the motivations for it weren't even rooted in U.S. politics, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
No, this had to do with the Taiwanese-China conflict going on currently in the South China Sea, due to the long-standing how do I say this correctly? The long-standing conflict between mainland China and Taiwan ever since the forces of Chiang Kai-shek fled Mao Zedong's communist revolution. Mind you, Chiang Kai-shek, not a great person. I would definitely say of the two, Mao was better. But they fled. Since then, Taiwan has been basically a separate country. Yeah. And, so one person died, and 5 people were injured, but it was still a mass shooter because many people were affected by this.
Yeah, although it doesn't abide to the FBI definition. Like, colloquially, we all agree that it was a mass shooting.
Yes. And it happened 2 days after the Buffalo shooting.
Like, even if you want to get technical with the definition, a shooting is still a shooting.
Yeah, it took place in, what is it called?
And even if you want to diminish that fact, we got 2 more next, so hang on, everybody.
Yeah, this took place in Irvine Taiwanese Presbyterian Church in Laguna Woods, California. And yeah, so this had to do, I believe the shooter, he believed that he is pro CCP, as in he's
Right.
pro the Chinese Communist Party, and he hates Taiwanese despite the fact that he is a Taiwanese immigrant himself. And so, yeah, this is very much showing that stochastic terrorism is a thing. Both of these shootings, both the Buffalo shooter as well as the Taiwanese church shooter, are stochastic terrorists, as they were inspired to commit the acts that they did based off of rhetoric from political pundits and political officials in America and China, respectively. This is very much showing the problem with stochastic terrorism and how just because someone isn't overtly saying, like, kill people, does not necessarily mean that when they're demonizing people, they are not trying to incite harm. This is why things such as the Don't Say Gay bill and such are so harmful, as it inspires stochastic terrorism. The ability and the constant accusations of anyone who's LGBT as a groomer most definitely is the type of rhetoric that leads people to want to kill them en masse. It's kind of similar to how the Great Replacement theory makes minorities seem like some type of invading force, dehumanizing them, allowing someone to go and kill a bunch of black people, or for the Taiwanese people, the fact that China doesn't consider Taiwan its own country, that they're a bunch of rebels, that they need to be put down because they are a security risk to stability to mainland China. Once again, causing rhetoric that dehumanizes the people of Taiwan, which led to David Chow murdering one person, injuring 5 people at the Taiwanese church. These two are textbook cases of mass shootings as a result of stochastic terrorism.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the other one, because this one is pretty big as well, the Uvalde shooting.
The Uvalde shooting, which is by far, in my opinion, for me personally, the most infuriating of the 4.
Yes, because did you hear about the story about a child who actually covered themselves in the blood of their classmate?
I've heard all the stories. The child that covered themselves in the blood of the classmates, the child that was told to scream out for help by the police officer who was then caught by the shooter and subsequently shot, the fact that the police did not go inside to save the children, the fact that some police officers ran inside, saved their own children, and then prevented parents from doing the same, from the fact that it took immigration to be the ones to break into the school and kill him, the fact that the shooter was allowed to be in that school with children for 1 whole hour while the police stood there and did nothing. The fact that the police did not even shoot at the shooter to determine whether he had body armor and they straight up lied about it. The fact that so many parents were arrested and pepper sprayed as their children were slaughtered in mass. Where do I begin on how horrifyingly terrible this entire ordeal was, and how downright maliciously incompetent the Uvalde Police Department are?
So let's go ahead and wrap it all around and bring it back to the whole good guy with a gun argument.
Yes, this was categorically a situation in which you had one bad guy with a gun and several good guys with guns, or I should say good guys in quotation marks, because these quote-unquote good guys did jack shit to stop this person from murdering 19 fucking children! Jesus Christ. He killed 19 children and 2 teachers in the span of an hour, while pretty much the entirety of the Uvalde Police Department collectively sat there with their dicks in their hand and did nothing. Actually, no, they did worse than nothing, because they did do something. They rescued their own children and left the rest of the children to die. Mind you, it should be known that most of these cops are white, and most of the children killed were Hispanic. It should not be forgotten that this most definitely had racial implications in the decision of the cops to save their own kids over the rest of the children. Uvalde is a border town, meaning there are many Mexican immigrants, meaning there is a disproportionate amount of Latin American people within that town, and the fact that most of the cops were white and let these brown children die should not be overshadowed.
Yeah. Now this one has probably had the most political aftermath, despite the fact that the shooter itself didn't seem racially motivated.
The shooter itself, we don't know too much about. Many people try to claim that he was trans, to which there is no evidence to prove the fact, and many right-wing grifters and politicians, namely Paul Gosar, retweeted numerous pictures of actual trans people that had nothing to do with Uvalde, claiming they were the Uvalde shooter, and thus these people had to come out and defend themselves, saying, one, I'm alive, so I'm not the Uvalde shooter, and two, I'm trans and not the Uvalde shooter, please remove my fucking pictures off your Twitter accounts, because numerous trans people were being implicated and were constantly being harassed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, with the Buffalo shooter being the biggest, like, result of, like, stochastic rhetoric as far as the right wing is concerned.
This is another example of stochastic terrorism being normalized in the sense that, let's say they allowed this to run its course, how many trans people do you think would get murdered by crazy transphobes saying this is for the kids in Uvalde that you all killed?
Like, there was an instance of actually a trans girl who got confronted by a couple of Texans and literally harassed her without end.
Exactly, because they believe that... I don't even feel like having to justify why their logic is retarded. Because it's fucking retarded.
Yep. This
infuriated me on so many different levels. The sheer... I mean, at this point, I have to say it's malicious cowardice.
Yeah.
Did you hear what the sheriff's office said? The reason why they didn't go in?
And what was that?
And I quote, they were afraid they were going to get shot. That is your fucking job! That is your one fucking job! You are the first line of defense! Of course you're gonna get shot at!
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I'm so angry. Oh my god. Anyway. 19 children died as a result of these people. Oh my god. And do you know what's the worst part? None of these people will be held legally accountable. As determined by the Supreme Court, cops are in no way legally obligated to protect you. Cops are not legally obligated to protect you, maintain your life, or save your life. Meaning none of these cops will face any amount of justice. They will get to keep their jobs, and they will get to do what they normally do, which is prosecute and persecute black and brown people while they abuse their wives and children, and now their children will have to deal with the additional survival's guilt of knowing that they were saved while their friends fucking died.
Yep.
Fuck cops. Fuck cops. All cops are bastards. All cops are fucking bigots. All cops are fucking cowards, because you cannot convince me under any circumstances that the same arguments that we use that cops use when they shoot innocent people is that they fear for their lives, that they didn't shoot this motherfucker in the fucking face. They feared for their lives and they did jack shit to save these kids. Yet it's the same excuse of fearing for their lives that they use to murder innocent people. Bullshit! They're fucking cowards. They're racist, misogynistic cowards that do nothing but pretend to be the high school bullies that they envisioned themselves to be when they were in high school, or aspired to be when they were bullied in high school. Fuck cops!
Which brings us to the shooting that happened today over in Tulsa at a medical center. So at this point, the shooter has been confirmed that he has been killed after shooting 4 people. So, of course, this has just been updated recently. This literally happened today, so I have to read through an article to give you the information here. But looks like they have confirmed the ultimate number of dead people, which was 4, and said that the shooter died to a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So the shooter committed suicide.
Exactly.
Do they have any motive?
They are unclear about the what prompted the assault. But he did have a handgun and a rifle during the attack, and let's see here, and we do have multiple injuries. So,
was this medical center? It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Was this medical center one to have been known to do abortions?
If that was the case, let's see here. Houses, buildings for outpatient surgery center and breast health center Wait, no, is this a different one? Actually, this might be a different health center. Oh yeah, no, this is a different health center. Disregard what I said. This is one right next, like, right next to it. So this happened this afternoon, and looks like they responded within 3 minutes. Jesus Christ!
I mean, that's pretty fast response time.
And then they encountered the shooter a minute later.
But by that point, it was too late.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a shooter coming in with a rifle and a handgun, you can kill a lot of people in 3 minutes. So at least, to our knowledge currently, at least the cops in this situation didn't horrendously fuck up. Still, fuck all cops, but at least they didn't fuck this one up.
Yeah. Okay, looks like that is all the information that has been revealed about this attack. So, looks like no motivation of this one so far. Again, things will probably come out as the days go by, as has been with all of these shootings. But, again, guns causing problems again. Well, not guns themselves, but you get the point.
Yeah. I'm just...
Yeah, we're at a low point because all of this talk about guns and trans people and white replacement is all just a ploy to win the midterms.
Yes, and not just that. I mean, if this medical center is one that does abortions, this is just another example of stochastic terrorism.
Yeah, it could be a motive, but again, we can't really jump to conclusions.
I don't want to jump to a conclusion, so I don't want to believe that this is because of abortion. However, mass shootings are a plague on this country. And the way to stop mass shootings is to, one, deal with the fact that we have a massive mental health crisis. And not in the way Republicans say, oh, it's all mental health. We have real mental health issues, done so by the crumbling infrastructure that we have due to the crushing boot of capitalism on our society.
Yeah, I do want to bring up some of the Republican responses to this. You brought up Paul Gosar pinning it on trans people, which, of course, abhorrent, because you know that he's the type of parent who's like, oh, if a trans kid talks to my kid, I'm going to beat them up, thus perpetuating the violence amongst trans people.
Remember, Paul Gosar is also the one that openly depicted himself murdering AOC in an Attack on Titan ad.
Yeah. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene literally came out with a story of, oh yeah, if this happens, my husband will beat up this trans, like a trans girl if this happened.
Yeah, which Republicans are fucking demons. I have said it once, I've said it twice, I will say it a million times. Republican politicians and pundits are fucking demons. They are categorically evil. They do nothing but spread hatred and disdain. They want nothing for you to suffer and die to their benefit. They are evil. They do not care about you. All they care about is making themselves feel good. They are fucking evil. And the things that I want to say about them would land me in a prison cell. So I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, like, I've seen a lot of stuff from Ted Cruz, actually. Like, him going after video games. Like, didn't we go over this literally 2 years ago when Donald Trump pinned it on everything, and we literally had to go on a massive Twitter campaign to show, look, we're all people too, and literally everybody else in the world plays video games. We are the only country with this problem. We're going through this shit again.
Yes, of course. But then again, remember, Ted Cruz, or should I call him by his government name, Raphael, is what we like to call in a business a fucking retard. Literally subhumanly retarded. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get Greg Abbott getting booed at a memorial, which, nice.
Oh, yeah, and then we, of course, had Beto O'Rourke call out the Uvalde Sheriff Department and Mayor and Greg Abbott, saying that it is precisely their fault that shit like this happens, and to that I say he is absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah. Of course, you could always point out that it's a political ploy for his run against Greg Abbott later, but at the same time, good on him. Honest to God.
Even if it's political ploy, that doesn't stop the fact that he was speaking facts at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and at that point, his rhetoric is going to influence people on our side.
Yes.
So
and
it's good no matter what.
Yes, and the whole thing, and some people are talking about we need massive gun reform, and to that I say we do need gun reform in a lot of ways. Red flag laws need to be universal. Universal background checks need to be done. Mentally ill individuals I would most likely say on a case-by-case basis, most definitely need to be evaluated before ever being allowed to purchase a firearm.
Because
extended wait times between ordering and receiving guns needs to be a thing.
like, and you know that I think it's been a thing since 2018 or 19 that Texas actually has permitless carry.
Yeah, we also live in a state with permitless carry.
Yeah.
Which right now we're going to use to our benefit because Sovereign and I will be buying guns to protect ourselves, but it is not a good thing in our opinion.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, at least we have concealed carry permits, thank the fucking Lord. Imagine if we lived here and there weren't concealed carry permits. You can conceal carry without anything.
Oh god, imagine having every city in this goddamn state turn into a sundown town. Jesus Christ.
Oh no, I know. It would be fucking horrifying. But in light of recent events, these mass shootings have inspired Sovereign and I to take necessary precautions and arm ourselves, as it is very clear at this point that stochastic terrorism is a very real problem, and us, as minorities, are very much on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And since we live in a blue area of a very red state, we know that things aren't necessarily all peaches and cream for us.
Yeah, but of course, gotta take all the legal precautions because...
I mean, the only legal precaution we have is to just go in for a fucking concealed carry permit.
I mean, we can do better than that.
You're talking about advocating for legal things.
Like, no, I mean, we can do better, like, actively, like, I'm sure we can do more than just concealed carry. I'm sure we can do, like, training and all of that stuff.
Obviously. I thought you meant, like...
Like, at the end of the day, it's like holding a chainsaw. Like, it's a tool that can kill people.
Except the difference between a chainsaw and a gun is that guns' only design is to kill people. Chainsaws can at least be, used to cut wood.
Yeah. Yeah, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it is a tool for us to use. Mind you, it's not really that great, but...
Yeah. Some people are saying we need bans on assault weapons, but while I agree, and here's the thing, assault weapons are already currently banned. Yeah. The problem is that guns, in their current form, are dangerous regardless of the type it is. Whether it is a handgun, a rifle, or a shotgun, any gun in the modern age is enough to wipe out a room of people if they're not ready. And that's the unfortunate reality of the situation. No amount of stopping what kind of guns there are can stop mass shootings because mass shootings are so fucking easy to do with any gun in the modern era. So we need to get to the root of it. We need to stop the people that cause mass shootings from doing mass shootings. And the only way to do so is to truly and honestly address the material conditions that push someone to the point that they will do a mass shooting. Because let's be honest here, once someone has convinced themselves that mass shootings are the only way, it does not matter what make illegal, they will find it and they will use it. So we need to be stopping people from ever getting to the point where they think mass shootings are a necessary thing.
Do you remember what type of gun the Uvalde shooter used?
I believe he used a semi-automatic rifle.
That's right. So, that being said, how do you feel about Trudeau's actions on this? Because, if you're not aware, he addressed to the public in Canada that he will be, from this point forward, freezing all handgun sales and imports. Which is, the only handgun that was used was in today's shooting.
So my thing is that I believe gun ownership is a necessary right of all members of the proletariat because when the crushing might of the state comes for you, you at least should have a chance to defend yourself. And so I do not believe in such a restriction that all handgun sales and imports should be banned because as we saw with the fucking Freedom Convoy, imagine if those people got violent. Can you imagine if the members of the Freedom Convoy got violent? You would want regular law-abiding Canadians to at least defend themselves from these people.
Yeah.
And like, the fact that the Freedom Convoy was able to freeze trade within Canada for as long as they did, we're lucky they didn't get violent. Well, not we, but Canadians were lucky they didn't get violent.
But of course, like, Canada doesn't have the same gun problems as us, so freezing gun sales, again, this is just a proposal. This has not been signed
Yeah.
into law
I mean,
yet.
my qualms come from the fact that I believe all members of the proletariat should be able to arm themselves because, the crushing might of the state is the crushing might of the state, and you should at least have a chance to defend yourself.
See, for me, this comes off as very, haha, America, look at us, we can do this better. And
Yeah.
it feels very dick wavy.
It very much sounds dick wavy, and
Especially
honestly,
because it's kind of counterproductive if it does go through.
it's not just counterproductive, it's very insulting and tone deaf.
And again, he could have done it with assault weapons and rifles.
Yeah.
But he went after handguns. Excuse me for sounding like a conservative, but that's kind of an important tool.
Yeah,
That's kind of more important than the rifles.
yeah, mass shootings are made exponentially easier by rifles because rifles have a higher rate of fire.
And again, of the past 4 shootings we've had, only one of them have had a pistol.
Yeah. Most of them have used semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't like it.
It feels very weird.
Yeah, but as for what America should be doing, in terms of gun reform, we've already spoken on increase
Wait times.
increased wait times. Red flag laws need to be instituted in all 50 states. If there are any automatic weapons that have not been banned, they should be banned. Because, in my opinion, while the proletariat does deserve the right to protect themselves from the crushing might of the state, you do not need automatic weapons to do so. If you were in a position where you would need an automatic weapon, you would already be fucking dead.
Yeah.
So, no automatic weapons. We should, however, I know this is a bit controversial, at least in gun communities, but I do agree with the bump stock ban, as it makes...
That has apparently done fairly well.
I agree with bump stock bans because bump stocks help with recoil, which makes it easier for you to continually fire. At least in the case of if a mass shooting has happened, at least you would want to make it so that the shooter is having the hardest time doing so.
Yeah.
So I do agree with bump stock bans, and I believe bump stock should be banned universally. And universal background checks. Anyone on the no-fly list should not be allowed to purchase handguns. And while, yes, that is rife for corruption in that many people are wrongfully put on the no-fly list, at the same time, there are many people that are currently on the no-fly list for very good reasons. They should not be allowed to own guns. If you have been convicted of violent crimes in the past, such as domestic violence, you should never be holding a gun, ever.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure if you have committed a violent crime and you have been convicted of it, you should not be allowed to own a gun ever, in my opinion. Whether it is domestic violence, rape, murder, maybe assault and battery, but what was I going to say? Armed robbery, things like that. You should not be allowed to own a gun, as you have proven yourself to be a threat with said guns.
But, Second Amendment says my gun belonged to me.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also had it so that every man was able to fucking vote. But you see how that worked.
So I do want to get down to that because ultimately, when you we'll be more accurately able to do this if we actually pull up the text of the Second Amendment, because I actually do want to talk about why it's interpreted the way that it is. So let's just go ahead and actually look up the actual text of the Second Amendment, because I feel like this is imperative to the discussion that we're about to have. So,
yeah.
Second Amendment. Okay, so the Second Amendment states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, so of course, this has been interpreted a lot of times to mean everybody has the right to own guns.
Yeah.
And so, what really needs to be understood is the well-regulated part.
Yeah.
That's what's
well-regulated militia.
Yeah. Well, at this point, what's weird about that part is that militias have been at this point, militias have been phased out and have become the National Guard at this point.
Yeah, and any militias that do exist, they're also usually double as criminal organizations.
Exactly. So ultimately, the reason that the Second Amendment is so controversial at times is because it's always open up to interpretation by the legal system.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's up to the Supreme Court to decide what that truly means. And either that means only militias can hold guns, which is probably not going to be considered accurate by most, or everybody gets the right to have guns whenever they want, which is most certainly not how I want it to be interpreted.
Yeah.
So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's more of what is the interpretation that we can justify the most, and ultimately the well-regulated part is what needs to be emphasized the most. Of course, the amendment is heavily outdated because of the inclusion of the term militia.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt like that was like a small little mini tangent that needed to be had, because of course, at the end of the day, what goes on with these constitutional amendments is, of course, the interpretation of it. That's a big part of the legal system.
Yeah.
I just felt like that needed to be said. Oh, God.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's just all upsetting.
Yep. At the end of the day, this is probably going to be the next few months until November. I'm going to be honest with you. These things are going to go up and up and up, and then their rhetoric will cease as soon as they take power again. And
well, if they take power, we have a lot of issues.
Yeah. Yep. Again, Republicans are probably going to take the Senate, and there's a good chance they're going to take the House too.
I'm not ready for that.
I mean, they already have the legal system. We're already screwed.
Yeah.
They've already got the judiciary branch already.
Yep. And in 2024, if they win the fucking executive branch.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what a lot of people don't realize is the fact that so many states have been gerrymandered to oblivion.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess, but we got to be ready for it.
Yep.
So, definitely stay safe out there. Happy Pride Month to everyone.
Yeah, I was about to say Happy Pride Month. It is the start of Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, oh my god, this was definitely a downer note to end after we just went through a fun of exciting media segments with a lot of good.
Yeah.
We ended with a politics segment that was filled with a lot of bad, but such is life. This is the world we live in. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows.
Ouch.
I mean, am I wrong?
I don't want it to be wrong.
Unfortunately, it isn't. But, with that,
We
are done. We have been talking for 3 hours. This is our longest episode.
Whoa.
Jesus!
Well, hope all of you have a good night. We'll be coming back next week, hopefully with more upbeat segments. What we got to look up for? We got
Kenobi episode 4 and Miss Marvel episode 1.
I can't believe it's already here. God.
Yeah, let me see. Miss Marvel comes out this day. Yep, they come out the same day. Next week. Next week I do want to talk about the Young Justice Phantoms, because next week will be our episode will come in before the season 4 finale of Young Justice, so I want to give my recap of the series as a whole. And some other media news we didn't cover. Konosuba got season 3, was it?
Whoa. Yeah, and a spinoff.
Season 3 announced and a spinoff, so congratulations to Konosuba fans. I know Sovereign is one of them.
Despite the fact that it is based off of generic isekai, and isekai are trash. Not this one.
Yes, isekai are trash. # fuck Sword Art Online. But with that, I believe now we have covered everything.
We're fully caught up. Finally.
Did we miss anything in DC?
I don't care.
Oh yeah, the Catwoman and Legends of Tomorrow got canceled. Not Catwoman, Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow got canceled as part of Warner Brothers Discovery's,
Really?
reshaping everything and trying to create a DC's new content vertical.
I did not expect them to cancel Batwoman. Wow.
They canceled Batwoman. They canceled Legends of Tomorrow. Arrow's already over. Flash is in its final season. CW Universe looks to be ending, except for Superman and Lois and Stargirl, because both of those shows are doing well right now.
Okay.
And, I think that is everything. So we'll see you guys next week. We're glad to be back after 2 weeks. We
I'm sorry a family member caught COVID, okay?
Yes, so yeah, we will be coming back with any news, information, updates regarding various things we talk about. I believe Dark Crisis issue 1 comes out next week as well, so we may review that since we already reviewed Death of the Justice League, which was the prelude to Dark Crisis.
Yeah. Which, oh boy.
Yeah.
What from the bit that I read.
Yep, we are in for a lot. But yeah, with that, we've been live for 3 hours and 16 minutes.
And we are eager to get off of the stream.
Yeah.